tumepoteza mtu ndio at least we do something. So unaona ni kitu ni circumstance ndio litulazimisha kuanza kufanya hiyo kitu. So I think ni natural tu, wanaume sisi tumezoea tu kukua hivyo.
Kitu Edwin anasema ni ukweli, and I think it's one of the biggest losses tunaweza, one of the biggest culture changes we need to do. I'm telling you, women wanna make major moves in this country, and in future itakuwa, unajua, as in a lot of property itakuwa inaoniwa that way. They're making major moves in land, in business, hata in the money market space. I'm telling you, they're making big moves. Kama kuna culture change tunahitaji is for men kuingia in that space, because I'm telling you, the amount of money that women are raising and rushing into property, especially kasa hii, ni crazy, ni wazimu sana. So it's not like it's a competition or anything, but hiyo kuji-isolate na venye Edwin amesema, tunakuja tunapatana only after crisis. Ni one of the biggest culture changes we need to talk about and make very serious changes and talk to young kids as in tuanze kufungua, kama tuko na cousins wadogo wako primo, tuanze kuwaonyesha kufungua an account pamoja, because it makes a very big difference huko mbele. So I agree with Edwin, and I really hope itakuwa a massive change.
Asante sana kwa hilo juza nikujuza. Ismail Luta, how are you doing?
Poa vipi?
Niko poa ndugu yangu, nashukuru. Labda wewe?
Sisi tuko salama pia, tunashukuru. Tunashukuru Mwenyezi Mungu kutupatia siha njema na kutujalia kwa siku ya leo. Issue ya chama, kwanza malengo ya chama ni gani? Lazima tuelewe. Tukilinganisha wanaume na wanawake, mbona wanawake wengi wako kwa vyama kushinda wanaume? Tuangalie vyama vya wanawake, watu wanakutana, wanatoa 100 ama 200, labda wapike chai, mwisho labda wagawane shilingi 50. Je, ile chama lengo lake ni pesa ama iko na majukumu na malengo mengine? Lazima pia uelewe, kwa sababu kikundi cha kina mama inaweza kuwa hiyo chama ndio therapy ya huyo mama. Aende afike kwa chama, aseme changamoto yanapitia kwa maisha, venye bwanake shida zenye aliziona wiki iliyopita, umpatie mawaidha, atoke kama pressure imerudi chini. Sasa yeye hata mwisho kama alitoa 100, mwisho apatiwa 50, yeye anarudi nyumbani amefurahi. Kwa sababu gani? Kuna malengo mengine ile chama inamsaidia. Sasa hiyo lazima ieleweke. Wamekusanya hizo 100 labda kwa watu 10, hiyo ni 1000. Wakapika chai mandazi, siku yake badala ya kupata 1000 akapatiwa 650. So yeye haoni kama nimeenda hiyo rotation yote ilifaa labda nipate 900, lakini nimepata 650. Yako na furaha sana, anaona ni faida kwake, kwa sababu ile chama iko na malengo mengine. Hiyo malengo si malengo duni, ni malengo ambayo inamsaidia na inamuongezea manufaa. So kwanza tuelewe hii chama ni chama iko na malengo gani? Ni chama malengo ya pesa, malengo ya kuinvest, ama pia iko na malengo mengine? Nadhani ukishaelewa hiyo na venye wanawake wanaishi, them being social beings, it will be very important to understand it. The second issue, even if we are going for group investment, for sure, I like that chap who came and explained the issue of money markets fund. You need to understand what is happening, because in Kenya, we are living at a very funny time. Some things which you never expected them to shake, some very big, you find them, there are scandals, billions have been lost. Then you are wondering what is happening. So just do your homework very well. Another thing, sijui ati education fund, tuanze kuwekea pesa kwa mtoto mwenye hajazaliwa, akishazaliwa, akifika high school ndio watatoa hizo pesa. Imefika sasa 20 hizo pesa, now somebody has to search for a lawyer, write the company lot of letters. Then you are asking, that's another level of anguish. I've been giving out this money very well, you have been receiving very well, but now when it comes, now you have to give back my money, you have to get a lawyer. So please make your homework very well so that you don't end up being disappointed. I don't want to throw some cold showers, but just everyone should do their due diligence, kwa sababu penye tumefika sahii kama wananchi wa Kenya, even some circles which they were big names for the past 30 like years have started shaking just because of the greediness of the top people on that management room. Thank you.
Unasema unajua kuna time SACCOs ndo zilikuwa the go to. We've even had that conversation here. Now you're saying hata SACCO pia ni ngumu. Na kuna kitu moja pia nilikuwa najaribu kunote as well, like yes, the ladies really make it in terms of chamas. Is it because they are prudent? Because Ismail, what you're saying is ladies go to chamas for solace. Kwani wote wanateseka, Ismail?
No, sijasema watu wanateseka, nimesema women they are social by nature. Women by their nature they are social. So you need people, if you are social and you need people to talk to, you need people to converse with, you need to fix yourself in a group. So si ati mambo ya kuteseka, ni tu nature yake. Kama wewe pipi, you are not a lone wolf. You need people to talk with, you need people to socialize with. Then I'll get myself into a group, because even if people are giving out 200, you guys, you take this 200, but my purpose there is for socialization in this group. Number 2, sometimes kama kwa area yetu, kwa village yetu kuna chama nini, hata ukikufa somebody, if he dies in your homestead, they come for you, they come and assist you. So my mom pia akajoin hiyo chama, and I'm here asking her like, so mom, mnasema hiyo chama tu lazima mtu akufe ndio mpate benefit yake? Kwa nini msianzishe chama ingine ama pati hiyo chama yenye you could be doing investment at, you know, the other woman, his child died and she was having troubles, so this chama really assisted her out. Okay, join that chama, but you mean somebody has to die huku kwetu so that you can benefit. But now you can understand from her side, from her emotional perspective, that she needs a group to socialize with. So whichever the reason, wacha ingie, because as a lady, she's a woman, she's a social being, and she needs that gathering more than males need it. But sisi kusema ukweli hatungependa for the next 10-20 years to benefit kwa hiyo chama with its objective. Tunaomba Mungu sana tuepushe with the benefits of that chama, but just we ukitoa but utuombe health and life. So my point is, si lazima watu wakuwa wanapitia shida, but the nature of their life being social, it will make them search for a group, and it could be any group provided it meets their social need. Thank you.
Juza nikujuze, do you agree with this, Maluta?
Yeah, I agree with him. Na kitu amesema ni ukweli, of course. Do your own research, always do your own research. Personally, I believe anything ikigrow above its original goal, sometimes iwe inapotea. No, you remember circles were very, very influential, very, very important. But then zinaanza kudevelop branches, zinaanza kuaspire sijui ni ati kukua bank, zinauza shares, they start getting professionals. Unajua, na people from outside who were not part of the original goal, hapo sasa ndo wizi inapoteleanga. So the culture should not stop. The vehicle yenye watu wanatumia, do a lot of research on, do a lot of research. Usiulize mtu mmoja, usiulize watu wawili, uliza watu wengi before you commit your money to something. Now, of course, kitu amesema pia about goals, I totally agree with. But that will always be there. The part of investing for some emotional reason, that will always be there. Yeah, we can't do away with. Na kuna watu, they see that as bigger, ni kama for example, just a personal story. Kuna time tulikuwa na a health problem in our family, na ilikuwa dialysis issue. Now this was in the 90s, huh? This was 90s. Now sisi tulikuwa watoi hiyo time, watoi wadogo, but now nilikuwa naambiwa hii story, and this is why now our elders now, my uncles and my fathers, walikuwa na contribute as a chama hiyo time, as a group basically. Dialysis in Kenyatta alikuwa ananiambia 1993 was 15k a session. Na 15k of course ni the usual, lazima udo two ninis a week, 2 sessions a week. Now walianza kutafuta help when they wamechanga imefika 800k, ikasupport a few months, wakadu harambe around ushago hapo, wakaget another 800k, ikaisha na bado problem iko, unaona. So sadly we lost that relative, but after that kila mtu akakuwa so sensitive about getting an issue of that magnitude that the saving ikakuwa mostly towards health purposes, unaona. Now ukiangalia from the 90s up to 2020, to assume walikuwa na save a k a month 10 people, unaona. That's 10k, that's 120k a month, 120k a year. 120k a year for 20 years, hiyo ni 2.4 million just on the saving, zero interest, eh? Even though kungekuwa na some challenges hapo katikati, wangejiadjust kidogo to invest, they would have made massive investments, but the adjustment was never there, unaona. Ilikuwa tu the issue of let's save so that to avoid the health scare, unaona, yenye iko, unaona. So unakuta by the way, and many families sadly were stuck in that mindset. Yes, they save and that's a good thing, but hawezi make adjustment to their goals, unaona. Ama kuna massive resistance to any adjustment, which can actually, because ukiangalia if you invest, for example, assuming umeingia kwa market na tuseme hata hiyo 120k hiyo time in treasury bonds ya 10 years, to assume 1995 umeingia na 13% treasury bond for 10 years in 2005, unaona. Na unajua treasury bonds wanakulipanga every 3 months, and then principal after the 10 years inflation adjusted. Wangekuwa wamejisaidia 10 times more than just saving for that one purpose, even if the purpose was still the same. So sometimes adjustment inasaidianga kidogo in looking at different avenues to make money. But now sadly, even in Kenya, unakuta a kawaida financial advisor, they'll kula you so much money, watu wengi wanaogopa kuenda in that sector. So when the bank useme I'm seeking for financial advice, instead of giving you legit financial advice, they try to get you as a client first, which is fair, that part is fair, but also kuna consultancy, kuna fees, sijui nini, kuna all these things za kukupea financial advice yenye inafanya watu waogope. Na of course internet ni kitu ingine. Internet huwezi jua between good information na bad information, because everyone has tried something and everyone believes something that is different from the other person. So I totally agree with Ismail. Do a lot of research na usicommit pesa yako tu ovyo. Get as many good valid opinions from people you trust as possible.
All right. Thank you so much, Juzani Kujuze, for that. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening into Home Run PP Investment Mondays. Your 5 minutes from the top of the hour. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Welcome to Home Run with PP. As you've heard, you're listening to Home Run with PP. We come to you each and every weekday from 4 p.m. all the way to 9 p.m. East African time. Your time, mabibi na mabwana. I hope you're doing amazing from wherever you're listening in. And unapata siku yako inaenda vizuri. Wale wenye wameanza wiki, talk to us. It's Investment Mondays. And of course, Home Run with PP is supported by you, the listener. If you like what you're doing, pale viju, there's a tip line 0721948229. Ismail.
Manze, kama before niongee, kuna jamaa alikuwa anaitwa Devon. Huyu Devon bado hai.
Yeah, yupo hata tuliongea naye last week.
kwa space hayuko sana, lakini umwambie Ismail amekusalamia, ingawaje mlikuwa na mtazamo tofauti, lakini siku hizi akuone kwa space na alikuwa concerned. So kama ako hai, mwambie mfikishie salamu. So juza, hiyo example ya juza ndo nilikuwa nasema kitu kama hiyo. Sasa yani people are putting money aside from that fear element. Naangalia hiyo pesa yenye kwa mfano the Juza family they used to keep like 120 Gs per year. That's a lot of money. So kuna family ingine huko kwetu they used also to keep such a amount per year, but sahi tao wametengeneza gorofa mbili, Frank Mart zimerent hizo gorofa. Sasa hiyo rent, you can imagine supermarket imekuja imechukua building yenu na other businesses they are renting, and now the income ban, the income that is coming hiyo ndio income yenye inaweza fanya mwende huko kama familia Gashagwa mko mnaenda huko coast holiday. Lakini sasa hizi family zingine wana invest from the fear basis. So pipi hapa ndio mimi nasema story si kuweka pesa, story ni what do we want to achieve and how flexible can we be. So mimi madhi akienda kwa hiyo chama yenye watu wakikufa ndio wana derive benefit, so wewe unakubali tu wenyewe wewe ishia, lakini yani mpaka mkufe, yani the living cannot benefit from hizo chama. Yani hizo chama ni for the dead. Kidogo pia unasikia malengo ya chama kidogo is not inspiring. Unapata life is for the living, and also the dead should respect the living, and also let the dead bury their dead. Hata Yesu alisema hivyo kwa Biblia. So issue hapa ni mimi hata ikifika time uone msali niulize wewe mbona nilienda kuchukua insurance wasana niulize wewe mbona usi invest kwa mambo ya last office. Nikamuuliza wewe unamaanisha nini kuinvest kwa mambo ya last office? Si ukidedi msee, sasa hiyo pesa tunapatiana kama 2 million kwa familia yako iwasaidie mazishi. Nikamwambia sio, mimi sihitaji hiyo. Kwa nini mimi Ismail sihitaji hiyo? Ni kwa sababu sasa nikikufa sasa ni 6 inaingia penye niko. Nikikufa sasa within 1 hour watakuwa wamejua mimi nimekufa, body yangu inakuwa transported, by kesho saa 7 mimi nitakuwa nimezikwa. So by the time nyinyi mnatoa hiyo pesa yenu insurance, mimi kama Ismail, mimi kama Muislamu, by the time mnatoa hiyo pesa yenu sijui 2 weeks, sijui within 1 month, inasaidia nani ku arrange matanga? Furthermore, mimi sasa nikikufa nitajishuka ya white sanda 200 bob imetosha kunizika. So hiyo 2,000,000 mbona nianze kuweka pesa kwa sababu naogopa sijui mtapatiana nani 2,000,000? So for me, mimi kwa malengo yangu sihitaji last office. Yani mimi last office yangu is as cheap as 1,000. Chukua shuka, ogesha maiti, funika, zika. So mimi sitaki kuinvest for the dead. Let's talk about the living, how the living can benefit from this investment. Sasa hiyo ndio point yenye nilikuwa nakwambia pipi. Kama hii familia ikisema tuchukue hizi pesa tuziekeze, we invest them in something useful, they could be benefiting. Sasa hiyo wangekuwa nenda huko sijui coast huko kama familia Gashagwa msee. So that was the point anyway. Thanks.
Lakini watu wanakuanga flamboyant. Unajua siku hizi hata kuna mtu niliona anazikwa hadi na 1 million. I'm like, okay guy, but you know, we invest for different goals. As what Juza was saying, you can invest, maybe say nicha save ndo nijenge. Yeah. So for that, I think from what Juza and Ismail are saying, you can easily invest for the future or for tomorrow, for today. So kama unasevia mpaka burial, mi hata nimesikia sahii na hiyo ya burial. I thought like mkipass ndio watu wanachanga, so that pesa ikitoka tu inaenda direct to the families. That is new. Na ina happen all across cultures, ama tu ni culture yenu? I don't know. I'd want to know. Does it happen in all cultures, ama ina happen tu kwa yenu hiyo yenye kina Juza alikuwa anasema, was it Juza ama Ismail? I would want to understand.
I think with modernity, there's an element of last office investment, so ni across the board, lakini it's kind of a middle class thing. Aya ingine mzee kwa village, msee akikufa unapita hapo barabara unapata imefungwa mzee na rope, unatoka kitu ndio unafunguliwa unapita, wakisema hiyo pesa ni ya marehemu amekufa inafaa azikwe. So hizi zingine ni random tu, they collect from house to house, they collect from the road, then the D-days kwa matanga pia wana collect. But hizi zingine it's a more of a middle class thing whereby people are preparing for their last office. So kama ni nyinyi ndio wase wenye mnataka hizo matanga kubwa kubwa, I think it's for those people wanataka matanga imetokea, kuna bottled water imekuwa picha ya pipi, if you can allow me to use your example, ama bottled water imekuwa picha Ismail. Sasa ukiingia kwa hiyo matanga unapata kuna nini kubwa ameprinti, kuna picha yako. Sasa unauliza hii ni matanga kweli? Is this thing, hii matanga, is it about the dead ama is about the ego of the living? Kweli marehemu angetaka picha yake iko kwa chupa ya maji, ama hii matanga ni ya watoto tu wa marehemu tu kwa sababu they work in some big offices, they want to have a show. So kuna vitu zingine zinaendelea kwa society, they are very costly, we don't encourage them, but they are more to do with the living than the dead, but it's across the board.
I also heard that people go out to, what do you call them, ratios, not ratios, children's graduations and birthdays just to show off. Yeah, but thank you so much for that submission, Ismail Juzani Kujuze. That gets us to 3 minutes past 6 p.m. East African time, ladies and gentlemen. This is Home Run with Pipi. Thanks so much for tuning in.
You are listening to Home Run with Pipi. Weekdays from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m.
You're tuned into Home Run with Pipi, ladies and gentlemen. We come here to you each and every day from 4 p.m. all the way to 9 p.m. Sadly enough, we're talking about investments and we are saying that ladies are good at savings as well. But I'm not hearing from the ladies. Ladies, if you can hear me, I would like to hear your opinion on all this as we are getting to understand what is happening. Also, ladies and gentlemen, Home Run with Pipi is supported by you, the listener. If you like what I'm doing, there is a tip line 0721948229 to support. Edwin Makoti, nakuona umerudi. What do you have for us, brother?
Vipi? Unajua naona nani Ismail amesema tu kweli hapo. Unajua siku hizi like it's like kila kitu imekuwa tu ni show off tu. Siku hizi yani hata tumekuwa tu fake na kuiga vitu za wazungu mingi, ama sijui ni sisi ndio tumeibuni zetu ama sielewi. But I think it is something that we really need to change as a society and as a country. We need to change these things the way we are handling them, because unaona kama hizo my expenditures hizo saa zingine hata unashangaga the amount of money, like me I remember the amount of money that we used, saa zingine mpaka unakangiva unajiuliza, but then what can you do, because unakuwa wewe ni mtu mmoja and you can't go against the whole family. So I think it is high time that tunafaa kuelimishana, tuone venye tunaweza tukachange hizi vitu venye tunazitaka whenever we have such kind of issue.
Asante Makoti, sijui kama umemaliza ama ulikuwa umepause kidogo.
Nimemaliza.
All right. I like the fact that these days we can even talk about last office in a show like this without, feeling like taboo. Yeah, I like that. Napenda sana. Mostly tunashinanga tukiongea kifo kama kitu yenye haituwapenie. So thank you so much, Ismail as well, and Edwin for shouting onto that. Hi, I'm also opening the mic again for everybody else who is listening in for Investment Mondays. We are back to normal programming hapa kwenye show. Ismail.
No, people, we need to be talking about last office so that the problem with life ni moja. Life is just long enough for people to think it will last forever. But in real sense, life is short. But because life is just long enough to make people think it will last forever, people usually don't think mambo ya last office. But it's good that we normalize it. That sisi tuko hapa duniani kama wapita njia, kama wasafiri. Na unajua tabia msafiri ni kwamba anajua penye anatoka, lakini hajui penye anaenda. Anaweza kuwa anatoka Nairobi akienda Namanga, yeye anajua venye ametoka Nairobi na venye amekuacha, but hajui kama atafika Namanga boda across Tanzania. Anaweza kufia hapo katikati. So tukielewa hiyo suna ya maisha, hiyo nature ya life, it becomes very easy. Now it will bring us even to another thing, drafting the mambo ya kudraft the will, kwa sababu pia pesa ndio pia tunapotea. Pipita, unajua kuna msee aja draft will na alikufa Nairobi na kiateka ndiye alibaki na gorofa. So kiateka anakaa amekusanya do, aoni msee akikuja month 1, month 2, month 3. Hii ni mwaka 3 jamaa hajaikuja. So kiateka sasa yeye ndio amesema yeye ndio mwenye nyumba na maisha inaendelea. Na kuna jamaa mwingine amekaa kwa nyumba, aoni mtu akikuja kumuitisha rent. Landlord alinyuria msee. Landlord alikufa 3 years ago. Kwa watu wa landlord hakuna mwenye anajua msee alikuwa na nyumba. So unaendelea, so pipi utaendelea kuishi hapo ukishukuru Mungu. So tukiongelea last office na tunormalize lost office, that unaweza kufa saa yote. Sasa ukienda kwa masoja, ukienda kwa mabarracks, masoja wanaambiwa wako wanaandika will because the nature of their work wameaccept. Sisi pia hapa lazima to accept the nature of death na that we are not immortal. Tukishakubali hiyo sasa tutaanza kudraft will so that hata kwa hizo will watu wajue Pipita kuna pikipiki kwa hapo na kuna baiskeli hapa na kuna nini hapa. So hata ukienda they know how they can access this amount of wealth, because there's a lot of billions in the year which gets lost in thin air and your children are just suffering. Kwa sababu gani? Hatuja normalize mambo ya early preparation. So I think it's a high time tuelewe hiyo kitu. But also number 2, we need to understand death venye iko, tusiweke sasa ni biashara. Kwa kampuni unapata msee amekufa, watu wa hiyo kampuni ama hiyo institution ama hiyo ofisi wamechanga 100k, wamechukua gari safari, wamekula 60,000, wamefikisha kwa kina marehemu 40,000. Bro, mnakuja kwetu 60 people ya nini? Mnaenda kufufua marehemu? Mnaenda 60, mmekuja 60 for what? For who? Bakini huko kwa ofisi, chukueni hiyo pesa, tumeni 2 or 3 representative waende kwa huyo msee. Hizo pesa zingine most zifike benefit. In Africa traditionally, in Africa, na hata ukienda sahi kwa Wakalenjin for example, boma yenye mtu alikuwa amekufa, hiyo boma hawapiki. So other people they'll be bringing food to that homestead because watu huko wamefiwa, wanaomboleza, hawana shughuli ya kupika nini. But ukikuja sasa Western sasa ni boma yenye tulienda hiyo matanga na tu kukula. Yani ni aibu, yani inakuwa ni kama ni aibu. So you have to keep on cooking. Yani mtu amekufa but the amount of money you'll spend, it's just enormous amount. So also we need to understand this so that pia pesa yetu we shouldn't spend so much money investing in fears rather than investing in good health. That's why unaona kuna pastor mmoja alitumia sijui 350 million kwenda kutibiwa cancer USA, akarudi na bado akakufa. Sasa amekufa, matanga yake kwanza ni invites only matanga, funeral, invites only funeral, na bado anataka wachangiwe mzee kwa mtandao. Such kind of nonsense that wewe ni pastor, wewe ndio unafoongeze sasa wanakondoo venye wanaishi dunia na venye dunia ni mapito. Lakini sasa wewe ukisikia death inakuja mzee, ushakimbia. You have spent 350 million na bado umekufa. Buda, si ungekufa tu tuachie 350 million at least watu wa inherit. Mimi nikijua niko na terminal illness, wacha let me start palliative care. Alisa hata nikishakufa niache urithi kwa watoto wangu. Mimi nitaandika nikikuwa ICU 1 week imepita sijaamka, I'm not showing any sign of life, please toeni kila tube na toeni oxygen, mi niishie. Kama hakuna sign of life after 1 week, ama wacheni niongeze ingine 2 weeks, 1 week ingine yenu ya kujipanga. So 2 weeks, maximum 2 weeks, 14 days. If there's no any response, because kwa bill sasa una accumulate like 150,000 per day kwa hiyo ICU. Unataka nikufe alafu nitoke hapo na bili ya 6 million, bado bodi yangu hospitali imekatalia, mnaanza kuchangishana, mnaanza kuuza shamba, sijui mtu auze Nissan. Hiyo yote ni foolishness. 14 days kama sina sign yote ya life. Nimesema mimi naosia kama Ismaili, toeni hizo tubes zote jamani, muniache niende kwa Mola wangu. Hii maisha ya dunia nimeyaona, nimeridhika, nimeshukuru kwa hiyo gift ya life yenye Mwenyezi Mungu alikuwa nimenipatia kwa hiyo miaka, nimetosheka. Kama Mungu hakuwa nitaka aniongezee nifike hiyo 80, wacha mimi niende nirudi kwake. So we need to discuss about these things. Ndio tusikue tunashtuka msee. Ati msee unakuja unaambia msee ako na stage 4 cancer. Sasa what next? Manza hatuwezi funga hiyo brain. Hiyo ni stage ya mwisho. Alafu sasa mnaanza kuambiwa kuna dawa nyingine mzee, kuna mganga kwa Loliondo Tanzania. Okay. Mkipata tu 2 million mzee, anaweza kupatia dawa nyingine mzuri mpone. Hapo will be coming with opportunities za kuibia watu bure and making people to be even more desperate. So I think we need to normalize mambo last office, and in case we'll accept that, we'll normalize writing the wills, and in case we accept that, we'll be living now knowing that we are living on borrowed times. Asante. Hata itapunguza corruption. Hii mambo watu kuibia billions as if they will live forever pia itaanza kupunguka. Thanks.
Thank you so much for that, Ismail Lucha. Ladies and gentlemen, I see kuna Malia Davis hapa hivi, DK Gift, Sudi's own IP, Global Walking. Welcome to Home Run PP, ladies and gentlemen. We are happening here each and every day from 4 p.m. all the way to 9 p.m. East African. Yeah. Hakuna down days hapa hivi. Tunaponea kwa kazi.
Social conversations, engaging topics on your phone anywhere. This is Home Run with Pippi.
You know, at some point, speaking of matters like last office, most people in the African context used to think like you are planning for death. Yeah. So I'm glad that with this new crop of leadership, kama sisi vijana wadogo wenye tunaongea, inabadilisha hiyo mawazo kwamba you need to have some type of money, or you need to have some knowledge to get to start knowing about your plans. So I'd like to hear also from other people about how to invest your money. Have you ever been in a group? Have you ever been in a chama? Of course, earlier on, Juza was talking about money market funds. Okay, unaonanga watu wana post feedback wamepata 2,000 shillings. I had not understood why, but thank you so much Bwana Juza Nikujuza ambaye amesema kwamba ametufundisha how that money market fund works in the easiest way possible, and you need also to understand which one am I doing as a long-term investment and which one are you looking to do as a short-term investment. So that was quite a lesson, I must say. So thank you so much for that Bwana Juza. Bwana DK Gift, habari yako? How are you doing?
Salama bro, barala.
Mi niko poa kabisa, nashukuru, sina mengi.
Siku hizi nimeadmit wakitaka kusema ni homo. Nikikomiss na nikimiss watu wa home run, ninatoka kwa break kidogo na kuja na asalimia kidogo na alafu napotea. So today is yet another day I have missed you all. I hope you all are doing well. Pipi, nasikia sauti ni kama kuna vile
Yeah,
hiyo weekend ilikuwa
ni Manchester United.
lakini usidhani, si mmefukuza Nimeona mmefuta coach mpaka kale kanini. I'm sure utapata hiyo kitu kwa ex yangu. Mpaka kale kadevo kanakuwaga katikati ya logo yenyu kame check out kamesema fuck this, hata mimi nimetoka huku. Mko na mashida lakini ndugu yangu. There's a lot we are going to say over the next like 40 or so minutes. I'll be here with you before I go. Kuna vitu nimesikia juzi ametaja, but hebu wacha kwanza niseme ile imekuja kwa kichwa changu kwanza. This last office thing you've just mentioned, I think you're talking about that last office plan that people normally are given, where you are supposedly investing in your soon to come funeral arrangements or something of the sort. I think that's what you're talking about.
Yes.
Okay. Me, I've always had two feelings about it. First off, before going to the money side of it, I think as Africans we need to normalize. This might be a way to go from your conversation, so allow me. I think Africans need to normalize speaking about their desires when it comes to the question of death as individuals, and even normalize having that discussion, especially with either their partners, their loved ones, their family, or even going to the extent of maybe even documenting it, because we keep having a lot of issues unaonaga katikati ya familia where mi na wife yangu tuli have our bedroom conversations, nikamwambia kenye mi nataka afanye time yangu. Never had that discussion with anybody else. But then sasa ukikuja kwa African culture venye unasikiaga akisema I don't know ma tribes zingine ziko na hii, but I'm pretty sure the other tribes in Kenya normally say this in their own language, where in Kikuyu you hear them say I'll say it in Kikuyu first, ohiki na madhiko ni mamuige. It means mazishi na harusi ni ya wengi, si ya yako. That's why you normally even hear them say or tell you when you're planning for a wedding, it's not about you, Pipita, and your bride. It's about the people you're preparing the pilau to come and eat. And so when it comes to mazishi, unapata sasa ile siku mi tuli have bedroom conversations, tuli agree kitu fulani, never documented it, never talked with it to anybody else about it, never put it in a place where it could actually go ahead and support my partner's words that this is what DK Gift told me. And then now when it comes to the days of kupanga matanga na nini, you're all here planning out matangas nini, doing a whole lot of things that probably were not in the interest of that person. So then people need to kind of normalize it. I think nime go through each challenge in particular several times kwa familia yangu, not just my immediate nuclear family. In my nuclear family, it happened when my dad passed on. There was a huge wrangle, huge, that tore between the decisions of Langata Cemetery, Nyeri, and a few other options. And it was a back and forth. And then I've seen it as well in our extended family. 2 years ago, we put to rest our auntie, who had made it very clear to her husband and her children, she had been struggling with cancer for a couple of years, what she wanted when she passed on. But when she passed on, she had never talked about this with the extended family, where she was born. It was a wrangle for a week and a half, bro. So I think people should normalize it. Because of going through it, I have done the same. In fact, me I went an extra mile. I've had that discussion personally with my wife. I told my wife, mimi sioni shimo hivi shimo 6 feet under maheni uongo tufia kwa. I am not seeing a hole for nobody's reason, but I've gone for an extra mile. I have documented it. I went to someone who's a lawyer friend of mine. Didn't even cost me much. Put a sign on it. It's very clear. It has witnesses to it, and my family knows. And it was weird to have that conversation when we were having it with them. But eventually we had the conversation. So I think people need to do that. So that even by the time now you're deciding to do last office plans, you ask yourself, like Ismail, I think Ismail may have mentioned it earlier, is, do I need this? I don't know if Ismail said this, but Ismail is Muslim. So Ismail being Muslim, what the hell would he need? In 12 hours, in 20 hours, Ismail will be done. If you allow me to say that, Ismail, right? Like in 12 hours, if God forbid today is your day, in 24 hours, you've moved on. So if anybody's coming to tell you about last office plans, it's going to be a waste. It's a waste of a lot of fund that you could have actually put in something else. You could have put it up for a different kind of an investment. You could have even done a money market fund and say it's a money market fund you were leaving for your kids. And you were putting money into it. And maybe there are instructions where, something of the sort. Now, beyond that, people, when I was coming in, I found you I think you're asking Ismail, whether, I think kuna time Ismail alibonga kuhusu wase kwa chama zenye sometimes wapataga backing shags, chama zenye or other groupings, wacha nisiziite chama, groupings zenye zinasaidia with regards to mazishi. And I had you asking whether it's something in other cultures or kina Ismail. Now, there's the last office thing, which I know could be more urbanized than anything else. But if you take it down to the rurals, I believe different tribes have this in their own way. In Kikuyus, we have in Kikuyu land and in most Bantu land, there's clans, the different clans. In Kikuyu, they call them Muheregas. I hope Muherega is the clan. Yes, I believe so. They call them Muherega, and the different clans come together for not just for mazishi, but they normally have certain contributions that are done per family member, per family, per home, that is a part of a certain clan. And these contributions are normally done continuously over the year. And they are usually meant for different things, not just burial. Burial is one of them. It could be a wedding happening. It could be a dowry that your other members of your clan, the village where you're brought from, could need to go with you. So, for example, myself, I come from Mokoroine. Down in Mokoroine, forgetting the name, I think it's called Mohito. I think our clan is called Mohito or something. Yeah, anyway, let me just go with Mohito. I'll assume it's the name. So what happens, PP, is everyone who now owns a home. For example, kwetu tumezaliwa tuko watatu. One boy, two girls. We each of us have a home. We've all moved out from our mother's house. We each live separately. So we ideally are expected, and especially the men, the women is a little different, because for the women it now goes to the clan where you're married to. So me as a dude, I am quote unquote obligated to a certain level to go and join the clan of my dad and start contributing. We contribute, I think, 50 shillings per month. So it's 600 bob annually. And it's so many different homes. Like now that particular clan in question, I think has almost maybe 40, 50 homes. So they put this contribution together for different reasons. All right. So I don't know whether maybe Ismail, the one that he mentioned, maybe there are those that actually do theirs particularly Mazishi. There could be. But the ones that I know, and I know I've seen this in Kikuyu, I know Kambas have it in their own different way. I know Merus have it. I'm married to I married a Meru / Luya, and they have it. In Luya, I was told there's something, but I think it's a little different. I'm not going to speak on it, but for Meru, I know it's the same Kamba and Kikuyu. And to put it in proper example, so I stop it here and I'll say about money market a bit later. To put it in proper example, PP, one of my cousins, about 3 months ago, his wife was diagnosed with cancer and she has to travel to India. They have a budget of 3.5 million, which has needed a lot of people to come together and contribute. Now, you see all these things nimekutajia ya clan. There are about 3 or 4 clans where I come from in my village, if I'm not wrong. Automatically, without anybody pushing anyone, because people keep contributing continuously. Those clans, each one of the clans decided they will come together and give something. And I think I saw contributions of almost about, I think, 30 to 50K thereabout from each one of the clans. Put together, I think there are about 4 or 5 clans. So put together, they've raised about 200K, give or take, about 150 to 200K thereabout. And just within this time, one of our other cousins needed to go for dowry 2 weeks ago. Our clan, our main clan, just came together and chomored some money that has gone ahead to support the young man. If today I go home and I have a kabash I want to do, in about 3 weeks, I'm going to do about 4 weeks, God willing, we're going to do a small ceremony for with regards to my dad back in the village. And when I do that, the viti zenye zitakaliwa and the tents, nobody's even going to ask me for a shilling. The clan has already chomoed money for the tent, for the seats. And the chama has given the mamas of the village some money to go and cook us food. So the different groups do different things in different areas. That's what was my point. So let me leave that one up there first and then we'll go on.
DK, hold on for a minute. I'll be back.
Sure. So I let me say one more thing with regards to these groups. And I think Ismail and both Juza mentioned them. Actually, Ismail mentioned and Juza seconded it, which is the ability to be flexible. Most of those groups, and I think maybe this is where the difference in group and chamas could be, is that chamas, if you check, there are different reasons why people, start chamas. But most times it is a certain common denominator that is between a group of ladies that brings them together to decide, hey, you know what, let's put up a chama. It could be, for example, my wife goes to anakuanga na job pale sokoni, anakuanga na duka anauza cereals, so yeye along a few other women hapo sokoni wanashikana hivyo and wana raise do. Their purpose in that being probably that one of the main reasons and objectives that we're starting is to be able to support each other from a business perspective. Like whatever somebody will receive on the day they're receiving their cut, they're able to put it into investment, or probably they're going to take that money and for some of us who were brought up like that, that money was used maybe to settle some fee or something. But then as they go by, you see them start evolving. Not all, but some start evolving. I saw, growing up, I saw my mom be a part of a chama. And this chama had been brought together by where I grew up, in the hometown where I grew up. There was a certain group of women who used to go to 2-3 churches that were sister churches within the town. And they also had the commonality of being business women. Some of them hapo ilikuwa ile time exhibitions ilianziaga, back in the late 90s and very early 2000s, when people started going to bringing in clothes from Akina Turkey and putting those 2 exhibitions in town. And some of them were running the business. My mother in particular, she used to run what I'd call a video video renting business. They used to have a place where they used walikuwa napatana town, and that is where they started off their chama. And it started from the basis of there were all these ladies who were trying from a certain basis, but there's some capital they need to put. As a matter of fact, 80% of them were career women on different things. This was something they were doing on a side. As they went by, they did this thing for I think about 5 or so years before they catapulted and moved to the next place of deciding they're going to use the same chama, because by this time they grew the chama. The crew had, within about 8 years, the crew had almost about 60 people, 60 ladies from within this my hometown. Had about 60 ladies. There were so many of them. They created a huge group. So now they decided to move it into something even greater. And one of the things I saw them do at that time is put their investment into part of the investment into real estate. So they got into real estate in still our hometown. They got some buildings here that they turned into income that they receive. And there's a way, Ghana, I really don't know how they really do it, but they've grown that thing. It's been about 20, it's over 20 years now, should be somewhere around 23 or 24. I've seen them evolve from the real estate. I've seen them move to support each other, especially when most of us were in high school and the likes. This particular group is what most of them used to take us to Shule. There's a way they had come up with that they did give each other loans. I think like the way SACCOs and chamas would work, given a loan, then walikuwa tu wanaweza kujipanga. So some of us, like Mimi, I was a serious beneficiary of that group. And even seen them evolve to the most recent one, about 2 years ago, someone advised them on money market fund. And what's this other one? Juice mentioned another one. I think it's called index fund. I think index fund, if I'm not wrong. And mentioned these ones to them very recently, as recent as I think 3 years back, 2-3 years back, and they've also been able to put that together and help them. And most of all, some of them, my mom included, have been able to take on their daughters, and their daughters willingly have become a part of these groups. My wife has become a part of that group. My sisters are a part of that group, and it's just building them and growing in a certain way. I will not purport to know exactly why, as men, we're not really able to do that for ourselves. It's not in all situations. I know there's a few men who've been able to do it, but I think for men, one of the things is most times when men go into this thing from the word go, they normally they go towards those groupings, like the ones that Jusa was talking about, that go straight into looking for places where they can, take this money together within the shortest time. You need to put it into investing somewhere in any. There's a very small section of men that actually go towards this. I don't know what happens to the rest of us. Germany, disorganization kidogo, Germany disinterest. I think it's just a mix of it all. Sometimes we don't. I don't know whether ni kukosa, because I don't believe tunakosa commonalities. There is some common element between us. I mean, Ismail, you must be a young dad. I am a young dad too. I mean, that alone can be a simple common basis to start off something. So I never really know what is going on, but those have been my experiences as far as seeing groups, seeing chamas work, and especially from the women's side, or the ones that are done from family. They sort of are put together to be able to help people to figure different things that they can do for themselves. But like Jose said, you need to do a lot of research, a whole lot of research. I could dare say and ask how many people here before the last, okay, maybe I could be the only one, but I bet you 8 out of 10 of us, if all of us here were equivalent to a score of 10, I dare say that 7 or 8 out of 10 of us here barely knew anything about index funds and money market funds until you've reached a certain point of adulting. It's like the first time I ever heard anything about money market funds and index funds, I was much older. Now, maybe it could be me, but I believe there's a few other millennials like me. For some, it could be a little bit of ignorance. Me not only a little bit of you. For some, is actually not being exposed to some of this info from a very early stage. I don't remember a time I ever sat with my parents until grow up, nimefika mahali niko nilikaa chini na mamangu tukaongelea kuhusu savings, investments na nini. For some of our parents, I don't blame them. Mazee walikuwa na enough, walikuwa na run nao kwa life yao, hakuna time ya kukaa chini na mimi aanze kuongea na mimi kuhusu venye wanafanyaga kwa chama na venye wanafanya, cause alitoka kwa nyumba 5 am in the morning, amerudi saa 3 jioni, she needs to go to sleep, wake up in the morning, which is valid. Then it denies me of a certain thing. Could be from our parents, it could be from school, whichever. I think for many of us, we were exposed to these things when we were much older. So yeah, I think that's what my experience with chamas and groups is. Pepe, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. Thank you so much for holding fort.
Sure.
Ismail, thank you so much, DK, for that. Ismail Luta naona ameinua mkono juu. Talk to me, Ismail.
So this, I want to give you another example why we could go into these chamas for even extra benefits. So number one, this group investment and a chamas, they're usually more than the money. You know, when we talk about resources, we have intellectual resources, we have human resource, and we have those financial resources. So in our area, we have our sub-clan. Our sub-clan, somebody came and asked me, hey, like we were conversing, I was like, man, you need to join this, you need to join the sub-clan, the charm of the sub-clan. Okay. And so how much do you contribute? Every month we contribute 200, this 200 registration, then every month we contribute 200. And in case somebody dies, we contribute 200. I said, okay, that's simple. So you call me the day after tomorrow, I'll wire you all the money, all the year's contribution plus the registration fee. That's just one element of it. But I discovered that in this sub-clan Chama, since there are very many people whom you didn't even know, now you could get to know them or to be connected to them. For example, you're having a case and you need a lawyer. You are easily to get a lawyer at a kind of friendly rate. Or somebody needs a doctor, then they are more likely to be connected to you. But there's also something interesting happening with this sub-clan in terms of the politics. You know, at the county level, people usually negotiate at the clan, sub-clan level, and they go and they lobby and they lobby. You know, Mohesh, we give you votes. Now you need to take care of us. Such kind of things. They usually happen a lot at the county politics. So even though that 2,400 for the monthly contribution is an issue to you, but you could also be having some bigger interest, maybe for your future career. So huko tu hapo, you are doing your masters, but you are isolated. But bro, when it comes now, who moves things and who lobby mzee? People are lobbying with their clans and sub-clans, man. So you're just chilling there. You see somebody has been chosen as a chief officer in the county. Somebody has been given some appointment. So sometimes this chama, they could be like, hey man, Manzi, in the last appointment, bana, we are not featuring in, and it's like you're forgetting us. It's like, okay, now can you give me somebody at least who's educated in this field? Then it's like they talk, hey man, we have pushed this man so much, but do we have such a thing? Then it's like, yeah, we have a fellow man. He's usually within our group, and he's a major contributor, and he's so and so. I think we need to talk to him. So sometimes there could be some personal interest, rather selfish interest, why people move to these chamas. So chamas could be more than money at the machinani level. So you just need to understand what are your needs, and does that chama sort your needs? because we are talking in a country whereby just people of a certain vehicle, sijui Subaru, they have their groups and they meet and they go for road trips. I'm sure in those chama they don't have monetary issues, but their ego and if the cars misbehave, they can post in those groups and they can be given answers. So whatever feeds your interest and your hobbies and your likes can make you fit into a chama more than financial interest. So I think I needed just to give that perspective because people could be wondering what are guys doing at the mashinani level with these chamas. And the funny thing with that chama is purely men chama. This chama for the sub clan is just a purely men affair. I wouldn't tell you why the response I got when I asked why it is a purely men affair. I wouldn't want to be quoted. Thank you.
Unaogopa utakuwa cancelled, si ndio? Watu wako funny. But thank you so much Ismail for that. I want to read the comment section. Leo watu wamekataa kuja kwa mic but tutaendelea tuna show. Chama ni poa, I support it sana. Mimi yenye nimecheza nimerigo round ya every weekend tunapea mtu but ile pressure iko hapo bro. I don't think come 2025 I'll go back because it has never been my thing but my friend introduced to me sahi naona moto. I don't know what you guys think about merry-go-round. I got into a merry-go-round once. Kwa ifikiwa na hiyo pesa nilisikia vibaya sana. Ismail, umewahi kwenye merry-go-round?
No, merry-go-round hapana, nilitoa kwa moja but I didn't participate.
Hizo vitu mimi naogopanga cause they are trust. Wakenya maaminiki. That's why. Watu wakiambiwa tuchange pesa wanakuwa excited, but mimi nikitaka kuingia kwa kitu kama hiyo I take part in the first place earlier on kabla ikue kuruka. Allah, naona Justus was trying to join us. How are you doing, Justus? Jambo Justus. Sijui kama Justus uko. How are you? Anaitwa Justus Juma. I think we are not able to connect to Justus.
Yes.
Oh,
Peter, I'm here. How are you?
I am fine, and you?
Well, interesting topic. I think the difference is how you're looking at it.
Talk
Because
to me.
my perspective would be cooperatives, group investments or chamas amounting to cooperatives. And even if you look at our current capital, Nairobi, walk around all the corners of Nairobi and count the buildings. They are all cooperative buildings at every major corner. And it's cooperatives that have given us most of the outstanding banks that we can talk of today. And again, one thing that I think the bank system has really succeeded in conditioning people to believe the banks above the cooperatives. Because in the cooperatives or chamas, if we were truly geared towards objectives, which you actually normally do realize when you are keeping your money with the bank, because why do you keep your money with the bank? You save your money in the bank. And if you look at the bank products for saving, most of them are, at the end of the day, are not comparable to a cooperative. Because when you put your money in a cooperative, for example, let's say SACCO, that money the principal remain your money. A year later, you can actually earn dividends from that money. It doesn't reduce. If anything, it just increases. But if you put similar amount in the bank, you'll be surprised. A year later, if it was $1 million, it will be less than $1 million because of the taxes, bank deductions. And should they trade with your money, they don't share it with you. Unless you are in a specific account. I'm in a saving program. but still, even if you lock it with them, they'll still not give you the principal amount. So a place where your money can be safe and also increase without any deduction, to me, I believe, is the cooperatives or the chamas. But as you're saying, it's the culture and the type of the arrangements people participate in. But if these approaches or concepts were to be empowered equally, cooperatives will be the most effective. Look at Europe, for example, Israel that is in war right now. If you're landing in Israel, you realize that from aerial view, the villages are secular, and they call them kibbutz or mosav, which is cooperatives in Israel. And by the way, those are the other side. Cooperatives are doing better than banks. Them, they don't have banks as we have here. So if we were to compare stronger economies and look at their financial models or structures, you realize most of them have adopted cooperatives, which is much more people-centered and actually is controlled by the people, unlike these capitalistic monopolized banks where you have no say and interest dictated on you whether you like it or not. Actually, to me, I call them daylight robbery. Yeah, so your perspective on how you view at chamas or cooperative, to me, I think that is what should matter. But if I was given to choose, I would choose cooperatives anytime. I hope I can land.
Yeah, Sakil, I didn't know that uko hivi pia wanatumia what we call cooperatives. How does that model work for them?
Sorry, I missed the question.
You said Israel have organized into circular villages and then they have been created. Is it the cooperative that are building the houses?
Yes, their financial structures are cooperative based. It's a cooperative model. Actually, here, another perfect example in Kenya are the Ismaili communities. You know, these guys who owns Aga Khan, who owns TTB, who owns...
Your mic is muted, just as unmuted.
Sorry?
Just as either. I don't think just as
Yeah,
Ghana
yeah,
is an
yeah, but I'm on
just
the
as
road.
either.
I'm there, I'm on the road, so my connection is weak. I think I'll listen most of the time. You can proceed with the discussion, but let me join you when I'm in a stable place.
Looks like we lost Justice while he was talking to us. But yes, I wanted us to talk about the group investments. Today we have spoken about a couple of things with Kina Ismail and Juzani Kujuza, including planning for your death, of course, by life insurance, and of course, also writing your last office choices. And yes, that is something that we also have to talk about. And also the ones like someone like Justice who was just dropped, who are talking about group investments. Yes, so we also need to talk about group investment. Just as Kuja, you need to come over and talk to us. There are people who want to hear, and I'm interested to know. Sikuwa najua kumbe Israel wanakuanga na circular villages haya. Hebu sasa itabidi ni Google nione na nione vile how such situations nani work. But yeah, it has been quite a conversation as well. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Home Run with PP. Home Run with PP is supported by you, the listener. Of course, if you like what I'm doing, there is a tip jar line 0721948229. where you can support us. Of course, let me go and see what is also going on this other side. But you can request the microphone and talk to me about anything else that is going on. It doesn't have to be on this current conversation. I think we have already made it clear here on the show that we handle various issues as they come. So do not lock yourself out that, sina conversation, yeah, investment. So I will not talk. Come to the mic and discuss with us, of course, whatever you have in mind. There's a lot of things going on. Another week of Rigathi Gachagwa's impeachment dramas, I see his bio is deputy president of Kenya, so I guess he has not read the memo that says he's fired. Yeah, ndio hivyo. Shout out to wale watametuni in hapo hivi, Albert Zeke, I see Muhija, I see Eli Alkeblan, shout out to you as well, Kmaina. Mbona maladies hawataki kutupatia siri yao ya chama yeah? Kwa nini? Ama hiyo ndo siri yenu ya mafanikio? Because I see and I think it's because sisi wanaume tunakwanga hatuna time ya kukaa chini kila siku. Consistency yetu iko na issue. I don't think most men would survive in chamas and merry-go-rounds because of our consistency. Yeah. With time we realize many men want to do their things on their own and or directly deal with the banks and get loans directly and go and do their things. Yeah, so that is also maybe something I've also noticed over the years. You can request the microphone. And of course, I have a bad voice. Msishangae mbona siongei sana. Yes. If you like what you're doing, ingia pale hivi kwenye tipja. Watu wangu siku zuri, tuko fuliza. Obela anasema, payslips will... Ananiambia marafiki yako na payslip ataweka kitu kwenye tipja. Hey, sijui ni sha imewashtua. Hata moneyed friends wenye wako salary bwana, mwingi pale kwenye DM. Nimeona request ya Albert. How are you doing, Albert? Can you get me? I've sent Albert the mic. Request the mic. Leo naweza kupata co-host. I am so lonely here on the show. I will not forget this day. Siku nitakuwa na watu. I will not forget the day you guys left me alone. Nikajiongelesha in the name of consistency for 2 hours. Sitasahau hii siku. Mngeanguka hata kwenye mic mniambie pole kwa homa pipi. Lakini you chose to keep quiet. I will not forget. Albert Nsengu, I see you're still on the listener panel, but if you can accept the mic, I'll just request, it's going to send you into the mic. Of course, shout out to Frank, Nick Gart, nakuona pale Jaber, Charmed, Bionic, nakuona. Nimewambia, Muhija, kijana wa Kakamega. Ni aje Albert?
Fiti sana Peter, how are you?
I am well bro, ni kupambana tu. Uchovu wa weekend.
Umekunywa nini? Weekend umekunywa nini?
Bro, hakukuwa na time ya kukunywa. On Saturday I've been shooting with Oyaba mpaka saa 2 usiku. On Sunday nimemaliza kushoot na Joeface at 5 p.m. Nikaenda kuona game ya Man U, so I came back home. I've been speaking literally the whole week last week.
That's the problem, I guess. That's with the cold, I think that's the problem. Mambo lakini, nice topic, group investments and chamas, of course, manze, that's the way to go. You'll be amazed to know that
Niko poa bro.
actually, if you look at my bio, ukiangalia huko juu utaona that my doctorate is also touching on financial technologies and microfinance in the developing countries, so developing economies. This is research, of course, under the German Research Foundation, kama kawaida, and of course, been researched on globally. I'm in charge of the developing countries, and mostly Kenya. It's where the data set is coming from. A lot of projects definitely under that. How it relates, definitely it's everything you see. Hizo chama unasema, hizo microfinance sector, they all fall under that. Funny enough, mobile money also M-Pesa ina fall under that. So from when you're in the country, you don't really know how big this industry is. But when you step out, you realize that actually that's a whole model that is funding people, homes, businesses in the global South economies. Just a small, I actually give a lecture on microfinance at my university here in Germany. It's University of Göttingen. It's one of the best universities huko akina Albert Einstein. Hizo nzee, hizo universities mzee zenye zilikuwa from long time ago. So how everything relates is some guy in Bangladesh, he won a Nobel Prize, yeah. So some guy in Bangladesh, early in the days, I think 2005 something, he's called Muhammad Yunus. He has actually, after unaona hii Bangladesh venye kulikuwa na hiyo anti-government stuff venye juzi wame protest, sahii he's the sahii ndio interim president, yeah, lakini aliwin pia Nobel Prize juu ali come up na hii microfinance model. Yeye ndiye alidiscover hii stuff, you know. So anaitwa Muhammad Yunus, ni mzee fulani, na yeye ndiye ali come up na hiyo model ya kusema si wase wako huko Bangladesh. Sasa akasema si wase tuweke pamoja, ilikuwa mostly wa madhe, alikuwa na target wa madhe, siama wamam wetu wako huko acha tuwaeke pamoja, waeke do pamoja, hivyo tu, what you see. It will amaze you to know that even in the developed countries, I think I've had someone also deliver just in the previous, I think the person who spoke just after me, they were delivering that even in the developed countries, they still use the same models. Manze, don't be lied to that easy chama ni vitu mbaya. Even these guys, the banks have been developed. Banks zenye zina run millions sahi, they are all cooperative banks. You see how we had Cooperative Bank of Kenya, ni venye Kenya semekuwa bank, but rather ilikuwa au huku kwao ni cooperatives, wako na hizo cooperatives until they wanaweka pesa pamoja hivyo for some time, they give loans to each other, so they have cheaper rates. Of course, the interest rates are quite cheaper compared to the banking sector itself, like our conventional banks. In Kenya also, I am a neighbor, or like I think CBK is my neighbor. I'm always in CBK looking at whatever they release and what they're regulating and everything. Of course, it's all regulated under the CBK. And CBK also has issued, maybe Nazangalia such things, then I share you. CBK also has already communicated that, of course, cooperatives get, as a cooperative, they get, you get a loan at lower price, lower interest rates as compared to the mainstream banks. So I'll also just suggest go more into these chamas, go more into the cooperatives, these are circles and what. But the problem is, don't go to the informal ones. So shida tuko nayo in most of the developing countries in Africa ni the informal sector inakuwa kubwa. So we are trying to like reduce the informal sector, make sure that a lot of people formalize their institutions. That's why uliona M-Pesa ilikuwa na drive ya pay bill, kuregister pay bill and all these things. That's why unaona Ruto na push. Ni venye sahi Ruto is bad for politics in the country, but rather umeona wakipush mambo ya taxation ya pay bills and everything. All that is under formalization of the financial sector, the better the formally and the better structures in the financial sector, the more formally included people. So our wote watakuwa formally included, watakuwa tapped, they can get access to credit, they can get, because it's now easy to regulate ujue mtu he or she is actually credit worthy, sitio? Because even your banks zinaoperate wanaangalia, na saa hizo microfinance pia zinaangalia hiyo scheme, but remember hizo microfinance au wanatumia hata credit worthiness yao wanaiangalia through hiyo shared responsibility that tuko Pipita, mimi, wewe, Edwin, Ishmael, mtu wote tu, ndio tunasema jusi tunajua Pipita it's okay, anaweza chukua loan ya thao, tunajua atalipa, so tunakupatia hiyo collateral. So the bank, it's like a social responsibility kwa hiyo community yetu. So the bank loans you the thao, alafu unaweza buy stuff za kuinvest, kama una buy kamera zako ama nini, unalipa over time. Pengine umechukua 10k, pengine umechukua 100k, and as long as we are formal, registered under certain cooperatives ama tuko registered in a better way, then your money is not going anywhere. And it's a better way of accountability. Everything is accounted for, and it's like, for me, it's like one of the best way of actually having people financially included. These are not things that only work in Kenya, as I've said again. Also in the developed countries, I'll pull like 2 or 3 banks that all operate under the cooperative umbrella. They give better interest rates, of course, to the people when you borrow, as compared to the mainstream banks. Probably that's a better way, and the more people you have, of course, the better rates, or the stronger your institution also gets, because there's also stories of equity and everything else. I leave it at that for now. Asante.
Asante sana Albert, for that, and of course sharing your financial knowledge. Mi mambo ya finance na inakuanga imeniaka nje. Hata investment Mondays, I'm here just to learn. I'm really bad with finances, and hata nafaa tutengeneze space ya kusema how do you create. Muhija, how are you doing, Muhija? Muhija, if you can hear me, unmute your mic and talk to me. Allah, ni kama Muhija amedrop. Edwin, you came in while Albert was speaking. Do you have anything to ask or add?
Pipi, I think today is a learning day, and I've listened to what Albert has said about these circles and chama thing, na nakubaliana naye kabisa kwamba yani it is a good space. By the way, for the first time, let me agree that apart from politics, this one is better off. And I was about to ask something, lakini ameelezea hapo kwa mapana na marefu nikaelewa. So I think let me just acha tu nikaa hapa tu pembeni niendelee tu kulearn, na kama kuna kitu kigeni chenye anatufunza pia it's good. I'm listening, nataka kujifunza zaidi leo.
Now, Albert, there was this new thing where they're trying to connect circles to the digital platform. Is it a good thing, or what would you say about that?
Okay, interesting kwanza. Imekuwa it's Edwin to FC wote pamoja. I want to give a lecture about this. Of course, it's a learning process. At least we're just talking.
And Albert,
yes.
Before ujibu, naomba kuuliza swali. I don't know if you were listening to me wakati tukianza show. I talked about group yenye tuliform. Ile group yenye tulifika tukiwa watoto wadogo ambapo tulilelewa pamoja, na tuko I think around 14. So tuli opt kufungua something like a chama because tumekuwa scattered. Some of us wengine wako Mombasa, wengine Nairobi, some of us tumebaki Eldoret. So we agreed that if we form something like a chama thing, in one or another it had to keep together, but at the same time to agree kwamba we invest for a year. So tumejaza mwaka I think sasa, na tulianza last year mwezi wa 10, so tumejaza mwaka na I think tunaenda ku access the accounts hii month yenye tunaanza, because huwa tunakutananga normally the second week of the month. So ningependa tu kama unaweza ni advise aje, because I'm the chairman in that group, so ninatamani sana kujua wakati ile naenda though mimi huwa natumia tu, unajua mimi I'm just like Pipita, I'm not good in these finances things, but unaweza nipa advice na gani?
First of all, you guys are registered, sindio? Si umesema you're formally registered, sindio?
We didn't register, we just form a group ile sisi venye tu tumelelewa pamoja na tunajua. The only thing that we did tulitafuta 3 signatories, which is me, 2 ladies, na tukafungua tu an account na tukaanza kusave. We just did it as kama tu, I think you understand Kenya na maanisha.
I get it. But first of all, kudos for that. Like, actually, it's a very good thing. Imagine the earlier you start, the better. Manze, I also noticed in these developed countries,
Thank you.
they teach their kids to start saving early, and then the kiddos start saving, and even the saving now starts turning into investments. Wanaanza kuambia, okay, you can maybe, invest it somewhere. They have like expert financial advisors who then maybe after the kid started at 20, unapata we are coming here at 30, unapata mtoi amekuacha na 10 years of an investment plan already, alianza akiwa 20 ama akiwa 19, just after coming into campus. They were saving maybe even 50 euros or 20 euros or 100, So I think the earlier you start, the better. It's good that you guys also noticed the chance and you started for your group and your friends. I actually also applaud you again that you decided to invest the money instead of actually taking the money and going to squander it or party or do whatever. You decided, let's invest the money. So of course mtapata kuna interest may accumulate after that time, after that 1 year. Probably you can still decide not to check out the whole money. Unaweza sema we're gonna get dividends, pengine useme because of the money we've saved, probably we will get dividends, like maybe the profits we've got, we can share them, and then you return maybe the same amount, maybe to a better investment portfolio. So this one, maybe you'll need more like a better advice, maybe at the investment plan. It's like a small group, so naweza propose you give it to an institution, or maybe you formalize it into an institution which is already have structures. Then you have a bit of capital now already. Pengine, for example, it's 1 million now. Maybe when you saved it, it was maybe at 800, and now we may get like 200. So you guys are worth 1 million. So you can maybe give it to the cooperative. Look for one that maybe agree that it's a good one, reputable, vitu kama hizo. Maybe look at the rates that they give, vitu kama hizo, and then you can maybe save it there. It's like it's your equity, it's your
Hello,
money.
Pipi. Sipati Albert, simpati.
Oh, unisikii kabisa?
Drop
I've been
and come
talking.
back, Edwin. Mimi naweza kusikia Albert.
Yeah. So I think he missed it. So let him drop first. Pipita, you said something about formalization of some things being digitalized, which is SACCOs being digitalized. Manze, Pipita, we are in 2024, manze. For me, anything digitalized is the way to go. Like, sioni mbona, actually it should be digitalized. People should be able to access their records when they're in Mombasa, mwingine akiwa Marsabit, without having to go physically to an institution. So if they are to be digitalized, for me, I will support it. It depends with if also the cost doesn't come back to the members of the circles or to the population itself, but mostly, or if it's only small amounts and things are going formally, it's a form of formalization. Let's not fight all these forms of formalization. Najua it's not really popular, na najua we are really struggling. I really concur with a lot of people. Sometimes we are struggling. It's the 200 bob, the 300 bob that makes a difference. But some efforts of formalization of these sectors will really propel us to the next stages of a development as a country. Like the formally, most of these institutions are, the better the government can tap and maybe organize with them, the better also investors can see that we are structured and also can have records, because some of, or even not only investors but also researchers. So and if researchers then can learn something about your borrowing behavior or your institution, then they can advise, So take for example Moi University, they have PhDs or they have master students who want to study something about Moi saving circle somewhere, and they use the data there to actually maybe model or analyze and see for the past 40 years, how has this Moi circle been operating and where do people lose their money? So always researchers are finding solutions to the problems in the society. So you all have to see everything as a chain. So kama hiyo Moi Sacco iko formalized, huu researcher ataweza kuresearch aseme okay, kuna data what analyze, there are a lot of tools that are for analysis, they'll do a dissertation about this. So the leadership of the circles will learn from these results. They'll say okay, it seems like for the last 40 years we've been handling 80% women. We've been handling, so how can we maybe work hard to reach more men, Ama we've been handling more money from bodaboda riders, juu hizo model itaonyesha kila kitu, inaonyesha do inatoka wapi, inaenda wapi, vitu kama hizo. Then watasema okay, let's now maybe do a marketing drive ya kutarget men, si ndio? Ama ya kutarget farmers, juu bodaboda ndio amekuwa akilipa, ama vice versa. So through that every group will be included, ama everyone will be growing together. So it's just through the one policy yenye ilisema let's formalize ama digitalize these services. The importance of digitalization, we all know what M-Pesa has done. Kama M-Pesa ingekuwa analog, hatungekuwa hapa si wote, si ndio? Hiyo ndio digitalization. The fact that I can send M-Pesa from Marsabit to here, umenipea to pay bill, that is what digitalization is. Make things digital, let everything be accessible. Sasa wacha kazi baki kwa data security guys, IT wenye sasa wana secure hizo platforms, ndio kusikue na breach, kusikue na theft ama nini. For governance, for them also it's a good way of actually making sure that there's accountability, because pengine for example minister amekaa anataka kuangalia Moi Sacco, is it really operationing well? Si ndio ataka tu aone on a digital platform aweze kufollow through. Well, ama kama ni blockchain system, someone can see everyone sees where the money goes, and that's the future of all these platforms, digitalization. I know Kenya, we are not hatuko mbaya story ya digitalization, to be sincere. We are still ahead of many countries. Tuko poa kabisa. When you step out and you look back in Kenya, you realize how much the potential and how much Kenya is doing. A lot of investment money zinaletwa Kenya. All this unasikia Microsoft, Google, ni because Kenya has shown a lot of potential in digitalization na stories za IT, computer science and everything. Tuko poa, wase wengi wana program, wase wengi wanafanya a lot of things. So tukiendelea ku capture to really take advantage of that, then the more formal we get, the better we are at actually maybe delivering the services to every person. Not on behalf of government, but I'm also thinking even in private sector, the same way. So like for example, just as I give the mic to someone else, Pipita, unakumbuka mambo ya blacklisting venye digital loans zilianza kukam 2016 M-Shwari came up, 2012 something, then juzi 2019 M-Shwari like digital loans zili shoot up sana, but at the same time kukakuwa na a lot of default, wase wengi walipi, then kukakuwa na stories za ati okay, so people have to be wanaekwa kwa blacklist, so then people have to go to Metropole for kutolewa kwa blacklist. So what I did, I was doing a pilot for my project in Kenya. Then I came to Kenya, I visited Metropole, definitely. It's there at Upper Hill, I think Equity Plaza or something. We had a meeting with the leadership, and when I was there, apparently one woman came there, and she had a problem. So she is a teacher, but she was trying to secure a loan like I think a 1 million loan, but she could not because she's been blacklisted. But she said she lamented that actually she had never picked a digital loan, so she doesn't know how she was blacklisted. So and then she goes back in the mind like what happened, sim card X, then she's been shown lakini hii namba ndio iko registered under you na iliomba sijui so moja, it was like 100 bob ama something, and then apparently the number was the daughter was using the number na daughter alikuwa campus somewhere else. So unaona how the ripple effect, na yeye ametoka Ocha, so huyu madhe pia si ati she lives in Nairobi. Also her, she's come from sijui uko Laikipia ama sijui wapi to come to Metropole, to the city center, trying to get a loan at KCB. KCB wakasema no, she has to go to Metropole, she's blacklisted, so to clear the loan or such a thing. So there's a lot of inconsistencies in the value chain, like inconsistencies, and also you lose a lot of money, sindio, because mama, she took a trip, so ilikuwa loan ya so moja, imagine 100 shilling loan, but she had to take a trip, maybe she paid 500 for the transport, she had to maybe sleep one day in Nairobi, she had to do all those things, probably it will, and also pay 2k to get cleared at the Metropole. So probably at the long run she'll pay 5k, ama she'll pay default rates and what, maybe she'll end up paying 10k for a loan that was defaulted of 100 shilling. It's a failure in the system, but at the same time it was a new innovation that was coming up that needs to really be streamlined. So imagine the effect if digitalization would have been done earlier, if maybe something would have been done that she could maybe clear her own maybe she could clear the issues when she's still in Laikipia before akuje huku kwote, angekuwa pengine ashalipa hiyo default rate and everything, na angekuja na angekuwa angehitajika kutravel kukuja huku kwote and to incur the extra costs. So of course cost is an issue. So for me, digitalization will actually go a long way to help bridge the costs that are actually come up due to the inefficiencies in the market. I think it's just a form of making the market efficient, and I would support it fully. I drop at that. I wanted to give.
All right, I see Edwin is back too.
Edwin group, your group, I was saying that your group is good. A number of people that you really already, I gave some positive feedback on a number of things that you did. I just want to say probably you'll maybe pay yourself. Get, I think that is, I think it's under, I think I read this from Robert Kiyosaki or something. It's, yeah, he has a clause that says, pay yourself so that you feel the worth of actually having saved for that long. You saved for a year, probably you've accumulated some dividends from the money you saved kidogo. So pay yourself kidogo, just few, to just say thanks, kudos, you guys, we did a good job. Then get professional advice, maybe from a cooperative or some institution that can help you to invest the money. Then you can maybe invest it again, or do a second round of investment into something else. Of course, now your equity has grown, so just put it in a formal structure, because now you did it as friends or something. Mkaeka sijui wapi, so hiyo place mmeweka, angalia kama ni cooperative mlieka, look at the structure, kama unaona iko poa ama nini, then okay, continue with it, invest it again, get the right maybe investment channels. Mseme kama mtabai bonds ama mtabai money market funds ama mta look for any other avenue that guarantees you returns. So that's the good thing. Then you're guaranteed on returns. Look at, I'm not really into investment, personal financing and investment, but I'll suggest that you maybe have a person who will guide you clearly as a team. And the more formal you make it, the better, because then you will avoid problems later. Now you saved as friends, but of course, as the money grows, problems might start arising. One person will want to go out, the other one will want to watch, bit kama hizo. So you start formalizing, you have agreements, like make them more formal, and you understand whoever wants to go out, maybe we'll get this amount, bit kama hizo too. Just those are all steps of formalization. But I really wanted to say it's already a good step that you started at a young age, and you already have all these maybe a small amount saved. So I would suggest that you go more on the formal sector and try to invest it just under formal institutions that have also proven to be okay, to have stood test of time. Also pia msipoteze pesa yenyu as a group. I would think that way. And for me, I think bonds also are like a bit safer ways of investing, or money market funds are a bit safer, but also really first get the advice from the financial analyst or expert. I am more just of an economist. I'm not really directly in finance. Yeah. Asante.
Okay.
Nashukuru sana, asante, nimekupata vizuri kabisa.
Safi Odin. Okay. Pipita, back to you.
Thank you so much Albert for coming and saving the day, because mimi nilikuwa naumia. Ningerapa hapa mpaka asubuhi na sina content. I see Muhija has finally gotten a hold of his network. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, Pipi. How are you?
Niko tu salama, homa kidogo, but I'm pulling.
Nimesikia unapiga nduru nikasema let me fill in the gap for a while for 10 minutes or so.
Hapo sawa.
So personally, sina experience na those high value investments, but chama, I think I know something, one or two about chamas and microfinance. Kwa sababu, my setting is rural community setting. So utapata chamas in this area are dominant, like watu wamezi-impress sana. Then utapata through those chamas, people have done so many things. You find young people, like young guys, wamejenga, wako na ng'ombe, wako na mbuzi, such things, it's really helping them. So structure ya chama inalingana na vile mmeagri wenyewe nyinyi members. For example, in my case, niko na chama ya couples. We are 24 of us with a couple, so that makes 12 households. So tunakutana every second Sunday of the month. So tuko na shares, tuko na welfare, tuko na projects. So welfare, things happen. And in our village, being the Leo community, you've heard, or if you don't know, matanga imekuwa celebration and it is a very expensive venture. So tukasema tuweke welfare, not just for matanga per se, but kama kuna wedding, member na wed, kuna housewarming, kuna baby showers, tuna cater for those things. And then, for example, last year we lost one of us. One of us lost the husband. So ikakuwa ni instantly tunampatia 40,000 shillings. Hiyo itamsongesha mahali. In a village setting, 40,000 shillings, hiyo imetosha kuhaya house. Kama unataka kufanya basic funeral, imetosha kuhaya house na maybe kununua sanduka and those things. And then kuna ingine ya community, niko nazo in 2 of them, lakini now these ones ziko specifically for welfare. To reach time tukaona kuna watu walikuwa na, tunajua watu kwa village sio the same economic status. Kuna wale ambao wanawezeshwa, wengine hawezi. So wale ambao mnawezeshwa mnapata mna carry burden, kwa sababu shida ikitokea village, people come to you. They say like, Hillary, you are so and so in the community, tunataka tuchangie pesa. So ikakuwa ni tedious. You can't be doing all those things by yourself unless you are an MC or a politician. So tukasema tuko na welfare community. Hiyo matangi kitokea ni automatic. Before burial tunakutana, then tunachanga pesa. Unapata tumeraise almost 70, ikikuwa kidogo all the way to 100, depending on how you support others. Kama ni mtu ambaye uchangiangi wenzako, ukipata matanga no one will come. Na iko that strict. So imesaidia community pia. And then so the issue yenye I think Albert ameongelea ni mambo ya formalization. I think government imekuwa very strict. Sahi social services ndio zinadili na groups. Kuna chamas, kuna CBOs, and kuna SACCOs and all those things. So ukikuwa on the safe side, mkiform chama na ina involve pesa, of course kutakuwa na, maybe in the future kutakuwa na issues. So mna formalize, mnaenda kuregister na social services, mnapewa certificate. So hiyo certificate mtakuwa mna renew every year. Sasa hiyo wamechange system, sasa hiyo wana renew na 1000 I think, na wanafanya registrations afresh. So once mko na hiyo, mnapeana signatories, requirement lazima mkuwe na bank account, na hapo kutakuwa na chairperson, secretary, treasurer na member mmoja wanakuwa signatories. There's no way you will access money kama hawajaelewana, and there's no way you will access money kama hamjakaa kwa chama mmeminute na furnish social services. Then in case member mmoja alete shida, you just go direct to the social services, handle hiyo issue. So issue ya pesa kupotea inakuwa ni hard. And then another thing yenye tuko nayo kwa village advantage ni kwamba World Bank imekuwa ikiroll projects, community empowerment projects. Hapo kitambo, the last 3 years walikuwa wanapeana kwa groups, walikuwa wanapeana almost 1 million in inputs. Mnapewa kuku, mnapewa feeds kama mnataka kuku, kama mnataka ng'ombe mnapewa ng'ombe na feeds, then mnaraise, mnashare. Then ikajulikana kwamba watu walikuja wakakuwa crafty, wakaanza kushare. Unapata watu wa family wameingia kwa chama, ng'ombe zimekuja, then watu wanagomia. Then your project walipump in billions but haikuwa na impact for community. So this time around wameanza the next cycle of that project. But now they are doing it under circles. So every group inaingia circle. Kama uko registered in a group ya chama, unaingia kwa circle, you register with 2000 shillings. Alafu every month utakuwa unalipa 1000, hiyo ni share capital. Alafu individuals ni 500. So hiyo pesa ikikuja, itakuja kwa hiyo circle, then you borrow as a group. Una choose project unataka kufanya, then you borrow. Now that borrowing, interest rate yake iko chini sana. I don't think it is more than 1.5%. Alafu so mnachukua mnaweka kwa project. So mkikuwa chama ambayo iko serious, you can do serious things, you can make a lot of money. For example, kwa chama yetu we have a share capital of 500 things, and we've been existing for the last 2 years. So tuna plan mwaka ikisha, we sit down tujue tunataka kufanya nini, tunataka kuweka wapi, and then tumeingia kwa hiyo sako. Wakianza kuroll out hiyo program ya World Bank, though we are late, tukichukua almost 1 million, we can do something with it, because sasa the benefit tuko nayo ya couples, so tukibenefit inarudi kwa family, just you and your wife and your kids, you benefit, so inakuwa easier. So nikuwa too smart. Then another thing nimeona kwa village yenye na work group investments ni issue ya microfinance, ziko mingi sana. Like me, I'm in one and I've been there for the last 3 years. So my share capital is almost 300,000 and I can borrow up to 1 million. And hiyo 1 million I can return in 1 year. So hiyo inakuanga best kama unafanya biashara. I have a friend who does business. Yeye amekuwa for the last 5 years kwa hiyo microfinance. Share capital yake ni 500,000. Anaweza borrow more than 1.5 million and the guy is doing well. So I think historia ya chama ushika sana villages, alafu kuna that notion kwamba chama maybe ni wamama, kuna that I don't know, stereotype, chama ni wamama, sijui chama ni nini, maybe ni chama ni watu wa village, but chama is an instrument unaweza kutumia kama best investment. Unaanzia hapo ku base your investment, then ukianza ku grow your share capital ndio unaanza kwenda kwa those other high value investments. Kama for example sisi tunaanza kufikiria mambo ya, tunataka kujoin sako ya Safaricom kama group, ziko mingi. Tunataka pia kuangalia mambo ya money funds, mambo ya bonds, vitu kama hizo. Ndio hatujapata mtu mwenye anaweza katu educate. Tunatafuta walimu, maybe starting next year they come and educate us, then we know what to do. So mambo ya chama ni mambo mazuri so long as mko watu ambao mko trusted. Uzuri wa community ama wa village setting ni kwamba you know everybody. Kuna hizi nyumba 10 initiative imeshika sana huku, you know everybody. So mkiingia kwa chama mnajuana, si kama ile mtu asikudanganya ile chama ya ile WhatsApp, moja sijui yako Mombasa, mwingine sijui yako Nairobi. Sahau kabisa. And then other thing I've realized, mambo ya merry-go-round, it doesn't make economic sense. Kwa sababu maybe mko watu 10 na mnapeana 2000 every month kwa mtu mmoja. So unakaa ukingoja 20,000. Ukipewa 20,000 inafaa uanze kurudisha hiyo 1000 the next month. So sioni kama ni valuable sana unless mko na strategy. For our case tuko na merry go round, but then for us before tukuje kwako tunakuambia tunakuja kwako, you appoint a program ama a project unataka kufanya. Maybe unataka kununua mbuzi ama unataka kununua nguruwe. So when we come, we give you that money, tuna make sure kwamba hiyo pesa tuna come Sunday, on Monday ama on Tuesday siku ya soko naenda kununua mbuzi ama naenda kununua nguruwe. The next time we come for the second round ama third round, tunakuja ku assess that project ambayo tulikupatia. Nataka kuona hiyo pesa tulikupatia uliweka mahali imekusaidia. For example, look home, kitu kama mbuzi saa hii kale kadogo it's almost 3000 ama 4000. So crazy mbuzi by December it's almost nothing less than 12,000. Saa hii mbuzi ni 7,000 up to 15,000. Ikifika December zitakwenda hata up to 20,000. So ukinunua mbuzi karibu, tuseme you've bought like 10 goats ama 8 goats, na maintenance si kazi mingi sana, is a lot of money. Kama mimi nakumbuka my first project ya chama ilikuwa nguruwe. I had like 70 of them, piglet 70 of them, then the sows they were almost 7 of them. So it was though it was labor and capital intensive, but then ilikuwa na returns mzuri. Niliona ni kitu mzuri na sikuwa nishaifanya kitu kama hiyo, so nikaona ni kitu mzuri. Nikipata pesa kama hiyo naweza maybe fikiria tena kurudi kwa hiyo venture. So chama, ukikuwa kwa ndani ya chama unakuwa na maono, then unakuwa smart, unataka kufanya nini hiyo pesa. Lakini ukisema uletewa pesa ya chama, you go have fun with it, then chama ina lose meaning. Alafu ukiingia kwa chama sahi, go to social services, register your chama, kuwa na certificate. Kama mko wengi and register kama CBO, mkuwe formalized, mkuwe mnajulikana na government. In case of anything, inakuwa easy ku resolve conflicts na financial impropriety, vitu kama hizo. So ukishafanya hivi, I think ni watu tu nyinyi kaa pamoja, mjue mnataka kufanya nini. Nimesikia ukiongelea mambo ya those cooperatives. Ukiangalia family businesses zilianza tu kama chama, naweza tu mkaanza kusave kama 10 people ama 5 of you, then mmepata capital, mmeenda kuchukua loan na mnaanza business. My sister kwa moja, they call themselves Fiti Sisters. So walianza tu kama mchezo. They have been doing that, now they have a supermarket in Nairobi, huko Ruiru. Wako na supermarket yao. There are 20 ladies wako na supermarket yao. So inakuwa easy kama uko in a group kusave pamoja, kama mko na dreams, kama mko na aspirations, alafu mko na the right information, than kama uko peke yako. Unajua kama uko peke yako, saving almost 500,000 or 200 or even 1 million, it's difficult. So una diversify. Kama kuna microfinance, jaribu ku build your rating huko. Kama kuna chama, ingia. Kama kuna sako, ingia. The time msha settle, nazo kamwe you want to take a loan, chukua sako 1 million ama 500, uende microfinance wakupatie 200, uende chama wakupatie a certain amount na uko na project zako, then unapata life iko simple ama iko beautiful. Ndio nimekuambia huku home vijana wengi hawana kazi, but ukiku wengi wao ni vijana wa ndudhi, alafu wengine wao tu ni watu wa mjengo, kitu kama hiyo. Lakini sako zimewasaidia, wamejiestablish, wengine wamenunua plots, wengine wamejenga nyumba semi permanent, wengine permanent, wengine sasa. Unajua vitu kama hizo kwa village ni a measure of success. So watu wakikuja huku unapata vijana wamejipanga na life, vijana wako poa, unashangaa nini inaendelea. Ni sako tu, na utapata na save maybe 300 shillings, ikienda sana 500 shillings ama 1000 shillings, but kwa vile wameiweka pamoja na wameweka kwa projects. Kuna wengine wananunua ng'ombe every year, wananunua ng'ombe 3 every year, hizi bulls. By December prices zinakuanga juu, unapata hiyo ng'ombe ikilisha vizuri in 2 years wako na almost 300, wako na almost 100 ama 80,000 plus up to 120 150, especially za kufight hizi bullfighting hizi zinakuanga very expensive kama umezitunza vizuri and all that. So pipi chama ni idea mzuri kuwa kwa cooperative, but ukingoja tu you save then utatukuja kutoa mara moja, itakuwa hard. Alafu kitu kingine nimelearn ni kwamba pesa mzuri ni ile ambayo umeweka kwa asset. vitu kama mbuzi, kuku, all those things, those are assets. It's even much better than kuweka pesa yako kwa bank, inakaa tu kwa bank. For example, mi niko na kuku almost like 400. In case nipate shida saa hii, I just dispose 10 of them or 20 of them. Kuku hapa saa hii ni 1,000. Kia kienyeji, pure kienyeji is 1,000 shillings. So if I dispose 10 of them or 20 of them, na market iko, I have 20,000 shillings, I can do with it something. So inakuwa easier. So that's what I can say, PP, for now. Thank you for the time.
Muija, umenipa challenge bwana na hiyo story yenu ya kuregister, and I think registration is also very important. Watu hata ikikuwa kuna kitu wataka msaidiwe kama hiyo ya World Bank yenye umesema, it's better ikikupata ukiwa kwa group than ukikuwa solo. I think you can easily benefit as a group more than an individual when it comes to grants and all that. I think Edwin, umesikia Kenya Muija amesema, cause wewe ndo nasikia unataka kuanza, mmefanya for a year now. I hope you're learning things here.
Pipi, I'm learning.
Yeah.
Na I think kuna some things zenye ame-mention hapo zenye nakubaliana naye, but pia upande mwingine pia inategemea na the reason as to why mulianzisha kama kwa mfano sasa venye nimeeleza hapo mbeleni ya kwamba sisi group yetu kulikuwa na reason yenye ilifanya tukaamua kuianza. For example, kama sisi wakati ile tulikuja kukutana after the loss of my sister, we agreed that we should not be waiting until we have funerals ama kitu yenye natufanya lazima tukutane ndio tunaanza kukaa na kuanza kudiscuss. So the first sitting I remember us discussing na tukasema kwamba the purpose of kuanzisha hii kitu ni kwa sababu inaweza kuwa na manufaa ama we can like, unajua tu kwa hii maisha si eti ni kila mtu amebarikiwa. Kuna wengine wenye wanakuanga wamechapa, kuna wengine wako poa. So sisi tuliagree kwamba wacha tuone kama tunaweza saidiana kuliftiana, and in that group I won't lie to you, kuna some of the people hapo wenye ni millionaires, kuna mwenye ako ngambo wako Canada, we have some mwenye wako hapo Eldoret na wako well off.
Edwin bwana, umepotea wapi? Muija, what was the reason why you started yours while you're trying to get Edwin back to the mic? Nyinyi reason yenu ya kufungua yenu ilikuwa gani?
Reason yetu ilikuwa project. Tuliona tukuje pamoja to mobilize funds tuweke kwa project. Ilikuwa sort of economic empowerment, na vile Edwin amesema, mostly chama mingi huwa zinashikiliwa na welfare, mostly huwa zinaanza na welfare. But then unakaa mahali unajiuliza, hii ni chama ya kusaidia watu wenye wamekufa, are we living or are we dead? So unakaa chini unajiuliza, hii pesa ni ya kufanya nini? As in, tunangoja member akufe ndio tumchangie pesa? No, tunaona kwamba hiyo si kitu poa. So tukasema tuweke kwa project. So tuko na project mara mbili. Kuna main project za ku empower sasa members and their families. Hiyo ni kwa chama moja. And then kuna the same chama, kuna projects za welfare. For example, sasa tunachangia tutaka kununua house. As in, sasa member wetu akifiwa tutampatia hata laureate, sawa. But then kuna wale wanahaya kwa sababu ni business kwa village, death is inevitable, na kuna hiyo need kwamba kuna house ya kusaidia watu kama kuna shida kwa village, wana suffer sana. So tumeidentify hiyo need na tunataka kuisolve. So pesa welfare, mistake yenye wanachama wengi wanafanya, wanaweka pesa welfare, wanakaa tu nayo, wameweka tu pesa welfare, ama wanangoja matangi kitokea ndio wanakutana wanachanga. Tunasema pipi atatoa kila mtu atatoa 1,000, so unakuja na 1,000 hivyo. So inakuwa tu ni chama. Matangi kisha what next? You go home, then mungoje tena. What if matangi sipofanyika for 3 years ama 2 years, what happens? So hiyo pesa, uzuri wa chama ni kama mko na projects, running projects. Na kama mko na projects lazima ikuwe serious. Mko na portfolio ya kila project. Kama ni business project, mko na portfolio yake. Kama ni pig project kuna portfolio yake, kama ni beekeeping kuna portfolio yake, kuna leader wake mwenye ana oversee project, na kuna everything inaendelea. Una run project, una run chama kama company. Kama unataka kusucceed, you run hiyo chama tu kama company. Lakini mkisema tu mtakuwa mkutana Sunday, mnakunywa chai na mandazi, mnachanga hapo pesa, mnagawania kwa meza, mnaenda nyumbani, itafika siku hiyo chama itakufa tu. But kama mko na projects zenye zinaleta pesa na kuna hiyo pesa itawasaidia. Alafu another thing, kuna kuanga na hiyo share capital. Inafaa mkuwe na constitution. Mkienda kufanya registration, watauliza mko na constitution, lazima ukuwe nayo. Na kwa hiyo constitution mnaandika vile mtakuwa mna share dividends or whatever share capital you raise. For example, kama kuna mtu ako na shares za 10,000, mwingine ako na 5,000, mwingine ako na 3,000. Of course, mkipata profit hamta share the same, mnaenda pro rata kulingana vile mtu amesave. So ukitaka chama i work for you, make sure uko na systems. Kitu ya kwanza, leadership iko sawa. Kitu ya pili, alafu kitu ya tatu, make sure kuna rules and regulations na mko very strict kwa hizo rules and regulations. Lakini bure, kama mko careful, chama itafika mahali ita collapse na pesa ya watu na mtashinda mkilaumiana tu bure. Go on people.
Asante sana Muvija. Edwin, umerudi, umesikia, na hakuna urafiki kwa pesa. I believe that is one thing. Hakuna urafiki kwa pesa, mtakosana juu ya pesa. I don't know.
Sasa pipi hapo hivyo kwa Muhija, I think nimemuelewa vizuri na jinsi ameeleza hapo. I think nimelearn 1 2 3 things na nakubaliana nawe kweli venye umesema hakuna urafiki kwa pesa. Hiyo naye ni kitu moja tulishakubaliana, but for our case as I've said hapo, as I've stated ni kwamba kwa hiyo group yetu tuko na some of the people wenye wako well off. We have bankers ndani, tuna one police officer, tuna wenye wako kwa business industries, kuna mwenye ameandikwa na government, kuna wenye kama mimi niko personal employed hiyo, unaona. Sasa tuliamua tukasema what we want is we want to lift each other. Kama kuna yule mwenye mnaona ni kama anakaa ni kama hajakuwa stable kimaisha, tuone venye tunaweza tukamuuplift, and that's what we did. Kuna sasa so far I think kwa this one year kuna wawili wenye tumeanzishia kitu yenye wako wanafanya, tulikubaliana na tukachanga na tukafanya hivyo. So about your registration is the only thing yenye hatukuwa tumefanya because hatukuwa tumechukulia like yani hatukuchukulia kama kitu kama chama such. Sisi tulichukulia tu ni kama ile venye mumelelewa pamoja, sisi tunaitananga ndugu dada, despite of our tribe nini, venye kila mtu anatoka kwa tribes tofauti, but hivyo ndio sisi tulichukulia. But as venye nime
Is it me ama amepotea Mwija?
Amepotea. One more thing, chama pia ni social capital. For example, kwa hii yetu kuna daktari, kuna lecturer, kuna mwenye anafanya kwa sako, kuna banka. There are so many things. Juzi nimekuwa na mgonjwa, then inakuwa hizi unaambia tu daktari, have a sick person, nisaidie na kufanya kazi yako inaisha haraka. Ukitaka kwenda kuregister sako, kuna huyo anafanya kwa hizi. Ukitaka ku access services za bank, unaongea na yeye. So chama pia ni social capital. Huwezi ukakaa peke yako tu kama uko kwa group yote, yani uko tu. Ile time shida na kupata inakuwa easy, hata kama ni wakati wa raha. Ukikuwa na watu wako wanakusupport, unaona ni kama ni family. For example, my family is far away, my siblings are away, na penye niko ni village ambayo I'm still new there, ndio nimemove to hiyo village. Na ukikutana na watu, don't feel lonely, don't feel out of place. Unakuwa na social capital na ni muhimu sana. So chama tena umuhimu wake beyond money and projects ni social capital. Ile wakati unahitaji watu wakusaidie pipi, watu wakusaidie ideas, mimi am the youngest in that group, au wengine watu the mature people, and I'm still in a young family. So ulikuwa na shida, you go there, they advise you. Kuja kwako, unaenda unatembea kwao, you see things, you ask them, mnafanya aje. you learn something, unakuja kuweka kwako, as they come they encourage you, they challenge you, unapata life inakuwa easier. So that other aspect of social capital ni muhimu sana. Thank you, Pipi.
I think Ismail Luta pointed it out earlier on. Kwa nafikiria anaongea tu story ya wamama, kumbe hata sisi wanaume tunahitaji hiyo advice. Aya, Bionic, how are you?
Hi, Peter. How are you?
I am well, and you?
Pole kwa homa.
Nakapitia.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up.
Nashukuru lakini.
Okay.
Pitia, but I'm better now. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you. Hope you feel better. I'm not really versed on the topic today, but after listening, because I just kind of joined a bit late, I had two questions. I wanted to ask Albert. Albert, is Albert still here? I hope so.
He's on the listener panel, but I can bring him up. I already sent him the mic.
Okay, great. Albert, if you can hear me, I wanted to ask you your advice or your opinion on cryptocurrencies. Do you personally invest in crypto? Do you think it's just a passing phase, like the latest greatest thing right now that'll disappear in a few months or years and not worth getting into? Or do you believe it's something that's growing and is a positive thing, and would you invest in it also? And what advice would you have for newbies getting into that space? And then I had a question for the guy who was just talking. I didn't get his. I don't know who was. Muhija, I think. Right?
Mohija, yeah. Mohija.
Okay, Muhija. I wanted to ask you: do the chamas get taxed? Do you guys have to pay taxes as a chama? That's kind of my question to you. I'm just curious, based on the new tax model. And then I just wanted to add that out here where we are, we also depend on raising fund. Not. I think, what do you call it? It's not really a chama. It is kind of like a chama, because it's people have different groups based on where they come from back home, and they put money into an account every month, like a membership, so that if one of the members has and it's an unlimited number of people that are in there, as long as you can prove that you belong to that area or you come from that particular area, you're welcome to join the group. So once you join the group, you pay a monthly fee of like $10, and then when you lose, it's only for funerals, and it's funerals only for your immediate family. So you can only get a payout if you lose your husband, your wife, or your father, mother, or your immediate child, not any adopted children, but your children that you bore, or that you as the husband or the dad of the children. So that's when you can, at that point, you announce that you have a funeral, and then this chama extends all the way back in Kenya. So in Kenya, they'll have someone to go and verify that you actually have lost somebody, and they verify if it's an immediate family member before you can get the money, because the amount they give you is 1 million shillings. So they want to verify that it's indeed either your child or your husband or your mother or father, and then you get the money. So sometimes it's because it's a kitty that people pay into every month. There's a lot of money in that kitty or other account. So you'll find that several people in a month, have lost, because there's so many funerals, have lost immediate family members and need to access this lump sum. So because there's money coming in every month, these people are able to access that money. So that type of chama is very helpful out here for people, because even though we are out here, it can get expensive when you have a funeral back home, because people, back home will be dependent on the people here, especially when there's a funeral more than anything. So most people actually do it that way instead of bearing the burden on their own or expecting people to come through and help when you have a need. So they just join a chama and kind of invest in it, and it helps you. We have used it personally in our family. So I think that that's quite helpful. If you live overseas or out of the country, think about starting something like that. Or if you live where there's something like that, join something like that. I mean, paying $10 every month is even less than your Netflix fee or Netflix charges. It's less than your Amazon Prime charges. It's less than your coffee or your lunch, each day. So it's an investment that will help you for sure, because you never know when it's gonna be your turn, when you need the money, when you have a funeral. So that's what I wanted to share. So I hope Albert had my question and Muhija had my question as well. I can repeat if they need me to. All right. Thank you, PP.
I'll start. I'll start with Mohija because Mohija is here. Then I'll go to Amunto. I'll bring back Albert when I can. Mohija.
Yes, Pipi. Hello, D. I guess it's D.
Yeah.
At the moment, at the moment we don't pay taxes on chamas, but then I think that maybe there's a plan from the government to do the same, because now they're rolling out new registration. We have to register fresh. Maybe they have something in mind, but at the moment we don't pay taxes. For the formal ones, maybe in the future they may fall under financial services, especially now that they'll be providing loans through World Bank and the SACCO system. So maybe I feel that in the next 2 years or 3 years, we may be required to pay taxes on those finances, or on those funds. But at the moment, we have those taxes that apply to the money we keep in the banks. For example, when you're transacting, you're withdrawing money from the banks, there are always commissions on those transactions. I think those ones will affect your chama if you're keeping your money in the bank. So it's not direct, but indirect. Maybe those people are averse with the taxation system of our country. Maybe people can look for them and they can educate us, because that's something I will also want to know if we'll be taxed in the future. I hope I've answered you.
Yeah. Actually, the reason I was asking, I believe the finance bill that Gen Z crushed had something like that. I was hearing something like that, like chamas will be taxed. It was written in that finance bill. So I imagine that it'll come up in the future, So when it comes up, what will you do? Will you still continue with that model? Because if they're gonna tax you guys, it's gonna kind of eat into a lot of the money you guys are saving. So what will be your plan B? Will you just pay the taxes and get over with it, or will you find a plan B in terms of how you guys are raising money?
Yeah, I wasn't aware of the proposal in the Finance Bill 2024 because that's something I haven't explored in detail. But I think from the way they're aggressive in registering groups, they have seen some potential in expanding their tax bases. For example, in my community, we have almost more than 100 chamas. Now, if they register with the SACCO, that's a lot of money. Like they'll be contributing 100,000 every month from every chama. That's 100,000 in 2 months, 200 in a year. That's almost 1.2 million. So I think the government, the way it is, they can decide to tax us. But then what can we do? Unless we resist, we go to court. We follow all the procedures, and if we don't, then we have to pay taxes. I don't know, but they will be killing so many chamas, and they are empowering the community members, especially those who are vulnerable and weak. So I think they'll be killing that spirit of chamas, and then they'll be disempowering community members. I hope they don't reach that point.
I hope so too. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing, Mohit.
Thank you,
Thank
Veronique.
you, Dee.
Yes, PP.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you doing?
I am fine. Talk to me.
Thank you. An awesome conversation indeed. I'm very happy about it. Hope everybody can hear me clearly. It is really, thank you. It's really a good thing for Chama because right today I was in one and actually we were sharing the dividends of the year. It is one of the things that I've seen for the last 1 year. I have been there. Now we are adding our year today and we are sharing the dividends. But now what I've understood is there is the registration. For us, we have not registered anywhere yet. But we were giving out a share of 500. We were continuing 500 a month. But you could have contributed as much as you can. But as per the share, is just only one. For one share is just 500 shillings. And today, actually, I'm privileged to be the treasurer in that group.
Amuto.
PP, can you hear me?
Now you're back.
Yes?
Yes, I can hear you. You're back.
Yeah, I think it's my network that is having some problems. But I was asking a question about registration because I'm one of the leaders there and we have not yet registered. I wanted to know the procedures for the registration because I saw it good. With the sharing of 400K today with the members, we are around 14 members. I saw it's good, but then the point of registration is what we have not yet done. And I would like to know if you want to register the procedures and where to visit so that you can be able to register the same. But I saw it's so helpful. And the other question is, for example, we were sharing that dividends and everybody was going with his share and the dividends. So it's like the group is over and then you restart again afresh. How better could we do it apart from now? Colleagues, thank you.
Muhija, when the expert wetu.
Yes?
I was talking to Muhija. I was telling Muhija, yeye ndio expert wetu leo atuambie what are the procedures of registering your group ama chama?
Yes, Pipi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I haven't heard anything for the last 10 minutes or so.
Oh, my friend Amunto was asking what are the procedures behind opening a chama and registering, because he says they have shared up to 400,000 today in dividends, but they do not have a continuity plan, because sasa after hiyo group imeisha tena wanaanza upe every year, I think. So what are the procedures, requirements of registering a chama? I know that people also listening here who are sharing money, but they don't have that.
Yeah, I'll share those that apply to me in my region. Ukitaka kuapply chama, you go to social services, you make a request. They'll give you a form. That form has details for the group. Then that form also has details for leaders, officials, bank account details, members. You have to list all the members with their date of birth and their ID copies. And then you have to pay 50 shillings for each membership card, for membership cards for each member. So when you go to social services, you make that request, you will pay 2,000 shillings for training. So they'll send officials from the office to come and train you on a day you choose. So after training you, you are going to elect your leaders. So after electing your leaders, now you fill the form with the leaders, you go and open a bank account, and then you apply for that. You apply for the certificate. It usually takes 2 weeks, 1 week, 2 weeks. It will be out. It's that simple and straightforward. I don't know if the process is different in other regions. That's the one we follow in our region. So just go to maybe Huduma Center, but I'll advise you to go to social services offices in your region, and then they will direct you on the process.
Thank you, Muhija, for that.
Hello, Pepe.
I was asking again because for us we don't have any bank account with ourselves.
Let me ask Muija if you can hear me.
Yes.
Muija, can you hear Amunto?
No, I can't hear him.
Yeah, Amunto, you have to request. Let me just bring him back again. Well, Amunto is requesting. Raphael, how are you doing?
So I just want to make sure you guys can understand me. Just give me, a thumbs up before I go ahead with what I need to talk.
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you so much. So when I got here, you guys were talking about about investment in cryptocurrencies, and one lady, her name is Bionic. She asked if that is an investment worth, putting our hard-earning money into it. So this is to me is $1 million question. As an African, I'm based in Mozambique, but I've been paying attention a lot about what is going on in that market specifically. So I just want to answer in a way that I can explain, based to my research, not what the book says or any study have ever said. So crypto, to understand crypto, first and foremost, you need to understand the business and overall. So you also need to understand the difference between a stock, which you buy in the stock market, and the crypto, the difference between a stock and what you're buying, which we call crypto, because cryptocurrency is a market which is like a regulation, like there is no laws, even of government official, they have not a fully understanding what it is. But I'm going to make sure that you understand if you're new to it. So when you buy a stock in a stock market, you're buying a share of a company that is producing any physical product. There may be manufacturing shoes, or manufacturing textile, or food processing. You name it. When you buy stock, every stock represents any type of product they're putting in the market. So when you go, most of the cryptocurrencies are trying to solve a problem, the two problems. Most of the cryptocurrencies are trying to change how bank works. If you can remember, banks is the only industry that has been working like they have never had any innovation. so the cryptocurrencies, they are trying to innovate how banks works, and how the bank loan you money, and how to lend money, and how to be your own bank. Also, at a cryptocurrency like a Cardano, they are trying to decentralize the government. Like than ever before, we can live without a government. We don't need nobody to make us the rules and rules and about what to do. We're all gonna have to obey the system the way it was created. That is what Cardano they are doing. So XRP is a company which is backed by Ripple. They are trying to decentralize how the money works. They just want you to move your money like information moves. Like when you send the money to maybe in China, sometimes it take your decision, your bank decision, in the processing time, which may take 3 to 4 days, your money to arrive to where you're going, which is no longer like favorizing you or anybody else. It doesn't make any damn sense. If the rich people who own the bank, they are sleeping on a Saturday and a Sunday, or they're in a vacation, that means your money can reach to the final destination just because the owner of the bank, they're not present for you to conclude your transaction. So than ever before, you don't need a bank in order to lend money or to borrow money, or to send the money to where you needed to send. You can do that without a bank. So cryptocurrency, also you can take it as take it like this is the first time you can investing in an algorithm, because most of the company there's other cryptocurrencies that are developing some digital product. When you buy software, you cannot touch that software. You can only use it. And also, you have to use it if it is in a computer. You have to install it in a computer in order to use. So there is a lot of company that sells like very expensive algorithm that like applications. Also, those are the algorithms too. So when you download an application, you need to understand who manufactured that application and how it works. It's a digital product. And most of the companies in the stock market, they don't have a regulation of the company that manufacture digital product, and that's what is the crypto that are doing. So, what you need to know, personally, I believe the cryptocurrency will flip, like will flip the stock market, will be the number one asset. And also to invest in a cryptocurrency, you don't need to be in the United States, you don't need to be in the UK, you just need your computer and the internet. But to invest in Apple, Amazon, or Google, you're gonna need to they need to know who you are. You need to have a bank account. There is a lot of different regulations which you're not gonna be able to pass that in order to be a shareholder in those companies. But for the first time in a life, you can own, control, and something nobody else can control. When you own your crypto, you own it. Nobody can come and take it out of you. Nobody can control who have this. You can see the address where that quantity of amount of crypto where they are, but nobody can control. Nobody can ban that. Nobody can, stop the transaction. Nobody can do anything about it. We humans, we've been looking for something that I can own it, and then nobody can come and seize what I own. Nobody can come and say, hey, government can come and take your house. Actually, if you believe you own your house, I don't believe you own your house. Government it does. What you do, you control your house, but government owns your house. So government can come and take your house. They can come freeze your money in a bank account. They can do whatever they want. But on a cryptocurrency, you cannot do that. This is why we see a wave of a lot of different people that are looking to get into this asset. But before you get in, there is also another crypto that are not solving any type of problem. You need to understand, because to make money, you should understand that when you're gonna go make money, when you make money by solving a problem. So investing in a crypto which are not solving a problem is the fastest ways to lose money. So first and foremost, understand what you're gonna put money into it. Once you can understand, you're gonna find the money to invest in. The problem when you don't understand what you're doing, that's when you lose the courage of investing in what you already know, because you may know something but not understanding. There's a difference between knowing something and understanding. So a lot of people know about crypto, but few of us understand crypto. So, in a short answer, I believe I think everybody should own a crypto for the self love, because what's coming? And you understand that once everybody has the knowledge you already have, that the crypto will 10x, so 1,000x. We have seen that. Sorry.
Continue, Rafael.
Okay, thank you. So, what I was saying, remember, at this time, crypto you can afford, most of the crypto you can afford. Maybe Bitcoin is a little bit expensive, but there is another crypto that are doing a better job than a Bitcoin. These cryptos are still affordable at anywhere you are in the world. I think anybody here can afford buying a Cardano. I think everybody here can afford to buy XRP. Everybody can afford to buy the Optimism. Optimism is another algorithm which is working better than Ethereum. There is a lot of crypto that are doing a better job, that are easy to use, that most developer use than using Ethereum, because Ethereum is an old school algorithm, is old school software. Nobody use. There is a lot of smart contract on Ethereum, but it's too expensive to use. So there is another small company which are solving a problem that Ethereum is not solving. So understanding these things, what it is and what it isn't, is the first way to go in, and they approach it very carefully. But if you can understand, you seek to understand. Once you understand, the game is over. So to keep my story short, I believe every one of us should own a crypto for self-love, and they do not own a crypto just to make money. Own a crypto to be a part of what's coming. We believe crypto will flip the stock market. The stock market right now, it's almost $11 trillion. The market cap, like if you see the value of everything in a US stock market, it's $11 trillion. Crypto market will be like that, at least 20 times more. Why? Because in China you can own a crypto. So in the same crypto, someone who's in Israel or in Kenya, that their wants. Their bank account it doesn't help them to transact on that stock. They also don't have any exchange that operates to the IP in order to own that stock. So cryptocurrency is the world as
Want to put you to call to your attention, ladies and gentlemen, pale hivi juu kuna tip ja line where you support the show. Naambia pale hivi tuko 00 na ni kubaya wadau. Yeah, so any amount inaweza saidia sana kwa sasa. For today, if you send me any amount utakuwa wewe ndio umeninunulia sapa. Ingia pale kwa tip ja wadau. Bionic, talk to us.
Rafa, thank you for your submission. So I have a couple questions. One, what determines the value of the crypto? Is it the amount you use to buy it, if that's the correct word? And two, what is how is crypto insured? I know if I put my money in the bank, it's insured. Like if it gets lost, or if the bank crashes, or if there's a cyber security attack on the bank and they lose the money, I'll still get my money back. But what is the insurance on crypto? How is it protected? And then the last question: how can I? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Let me just answer the first question, because I don't want to forget the last one. First and foremost, to determine the value of anything, you need to understand what kind of problem they are solving. If they're not solving any problem that will be solved, there's no value to that. And also, if you think the price is overhyped, then the price may be more than the value, because there's a difference between a value and the price. When you pay a price, what you get is a value, right? So to me, I don't want to know Bitcoin, to be honest, because I feel like it's too expensive. But if you see the adoption in the Bitcoin, I think that price is lower, cheaper. MicroStrategy, the guy called Silo, he predicted that he believed in 2050, Bitcoin will be worth to $10 million, just one Bitcoin. Why? Because now there is adoption of countries, and now we just had, like on Friday, I don't know if you followed, Microsoft has they are thinking about adding Bitcoin in the balance sheet. Microsoft is I think you need to understand that Microsoft is everyone in the world is a customer of Microsoft. It can be a government or your corporation where you work with. They are all have exposure to Microsoft. Like they pay some fees to use their the product they put outside. So imagine Microsoft also has an economy that most of the countries of Africa do not even have what Microsoft on. Like it's a $300 company. I believe Kenya is one of the most rich country in Africa, but you cannot compare the economy of Kenya and the Microsoft. That's just try to compare that. So now they are thinking about bringing the Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Why? Because most of the companies are running the deficit causing by inflation. We believe a lot of people in the economists believe the dollar will eventually crash, which I believe too, because if you see the amount of the debt the US owns, and they keep printing more money, and most currencies, the countries like Africa, countries like where it came from, they are all their currency, like their currency peg the dollar. If the dollar goes down, that's when their currency goes up. So, and the Bitcoin trade against the dollar. When the dollar is going down, that's when the Bitcoin goes up. And that is an element. The dollar has to keep going down because of what they're doing. If you keep adding more money in the supply, it means like the value of that thing is going to decline eventually. So by answering your question, the value of these crypto or any crypto you're going to have to invest, you need to understand what kind of problem they are solving and who are their customers, what makes the people buy their services, and who they are already a customer. Once you can understand that, that's when you determine the value of those assets. So if you can see the smart contract that are on the Ethereum chain, you start to understand the value why the Ethereum costs $2,500. If you can see the adoption is behind the Bitcoin, countries, corporation, people, you will start to understand why the Bitcoin is on that price. So if you can learn optimism, learn about company work, learn about XRP, that's when you understand. Because personally, I am over leveraged on the XRP. Why? Because I kind of see what kind of problem they're solving, and the adoption is not something you're gonna stop, because they are on a technology that every banks want to use to transfer the money. And also remember, Ripple has gained a contract to tokenize the U.S. government debt. If you can understand the tokenization that which the world we are getting into right now, so you're gonna start to understand what's coming. So I do believe the world is changing. I do believe the technology will take over. You can put all together, taking AI, robot, autonomous drive, and the technology behind the cryptocurrency, and put together, you're gonna see that what I'm talking about here is what's coming. So why most of the media feed us the FUD, like tell us do not own this thing. That's because there is no laws, because some government official, they are looking to understand this kind of asset, what it is and what it isn't, how they work, what is the value. But they have started to understand, but the more they understand, they see like these assets are replacing the system they had, and the most those systems they had are the system they have invested their money in. Baby boomers, they have a lot of money in the stock market. You're not gonna tell baby boomers, hey, don't invest in the financial companies because there is a company which is disrupting, because they're not gonna like to see. Imagine I am Tesla, and I mean, do you think like companies like Toyota, Hyundai, they are like Tesla? No, they don't, because Tesla is revolutionizing the technology and how to, like, they're already in there. They already took their market share right now. Everybody knows Tesla. A few years ago, there is I know people got to know Toyota when you had the money to go buy a car. That's when you started to know, hey, Toyota or something else. And now, in a 12 years old guy, he knows what is a Tesla right now. That tells you how fast this thing is going. So, do you think I answered your question?
In terms of the value, you said it depends on what problem it's solving. I guess that will need more time for understanding, but you didn't answer the part of what secures the asset in terms of, or what
Oh,
insures it.
okay. That's a very good question again. There is no security on you don't have no insurance anytime you buy crypto. Crypto is not a FDIC insured. Like if you buy any token because when you buy a cryptocurrency, you're buying a token. You're not buying a share in that company. You're just buying a token. A token is what they use to buy the fees on the people who use their algorithm. And you're gonna need to buy fees in order to keep using their algorithm, the software they sell. So there is no, like, when you buy this asset, you have no FDIC insurance. Why? Because FDIC insurance, they only insure any company or anything that has a regulation. These companies or cryptocurrency that is not regulated yet, but it's coming. US and the UK, China, which is Hong Kong. I mean, Hong Kong is not China, but it's controlled by China. So they're all getting together trying to understand what it is and what it isn't, and then they're gonna do regulation. Regulation will be good and it will be bad, because some crypto will have to disappear because they don't meet the criteria of being there on the market selling their token to the public. So there is no regulation. But remember, anytime you're looking to invest because you're just waiting the regulation, because once the regulation kicks in, the value will go up. Imagine some crypto passes the regulation, other fear the regulation. It means once the regulation is there, the price of those things will go to the price you won't be able to afford. It's very important now you understand the value of those things before they are regulated. Once the regulation is over, you won't be able to afford this asset because it will be very expensive, because now, like, big money and the smart money knows what it is, what kind of asset that they are. They're gonna start to put your saving money into there. They're gonna put your insurance money there, because now there is regulation. Now big money and the smart money knows what these assets knows what it is. So it's more important that you acquire the knowledge to understand these assets before the regulation kicks in. So do you think that makes sense to you, or did I answer the second question?
Yeah, you did, but for me, I'd rather have something that's regulated, because regulations protect consumers.
Okay.
If I'm buying, like, how much is a token, for example, for Ethereum?
Hmm.
I would like,
Ethereum is go ahead.
how much is it?
$2,500.
So $2,500 is not small change.
No, it's not. Whatever you're gonna pay is
Yeah.
not. It can never be small. Yeah.
So I would sleep better at night knowing that money is secure, and it's, God forbid, something happens or the crypto market crashes, that I can get my money back.
Mhm.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
it's I respect that, but when you need, it depends what you're looking for and who you are in terms of taking risk, because that's where you need to understand everything that you're gonna take higher risk, there's more higher return. That's why it's important to learn about these things before the time is over, to get to understand what it is. You do not have to wait a government official to understand these assets for you to understand, because it's imminent. They have to be regulation, because there is almost $2 trillion in crypto market worldwide. You cannot crush this market. Anything you can do right now is to regulate it, is to pass the law that regulate and protect the consumers of these assets. So before that, once the regulation is over, trust me, this market will be valuable. A lot of money in the to buy any of this token will be thousands of dollars, and some of us won't afford it. But right now, you can afford it. That's the difference between taking a risk and not taking a risk. But I'm gonna also respect your opinion. Like, hey, I think I'm gonna always stay where there is a regulation, where I'm gonna be supportive for anything. And you're right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Before I let you go, Raphael, I have a question for you. Um, what are your thoughts on ADA and of what we call Cardano? That's from Sudi's own. Raphael, what are your thoughts on ADA? That is ADA, dollar
Excuse me, sir.
ADA, I think it's sad.
I'm gonna give you my opinion, but I'm picking up the phone call right now. Just anybody here can be taking my just give me 5 minutes, I'm coming back. Get it?
Okay, cool. Thank you so much, Raphael, for that. Okay, I got you. Thank you so much, Raphael, joining us from Mozambique, giving us his thoughts on cryptocurrency, and also giving us a breakdown on why you should have. He says that if you you should have cryptocurrency, you should.
This is Home Run with Pipi.
Amunto. And he says you don't have to have Bitcoin. Everybody wants Bitcoin. FOMO, it will finish you guys. And thank you so much, Lavin, for your tip. Kidogo tuende 00. Ingieni pale kwa 0721948229 and tip the show. Sikujua bwana unalipianga wasanii fare bwana. I have seen long weekend, guys. Long weekend. And boy, oh boy. Yeah. So it's when shooting this visual content is also quite expensive. I didn't expect it like that. But Amonto, how are you doing? Sijui kama nimepoteza Amonto. I look like, it seems like.
Yes, Pipi.
Yeah, talk to me.
Actually, I have sent a message to Muhija. I wanted to ask the question about again the group, because for us that form from the social works, if I have listened carefully to what you are saying, it is somewhere you put the bank account. For us, the group actually we have concluded today is that in every date 5 of the month we contribute 500. That is, a share is 500, and then all that money we lend to the members, and then they return it with the interest after 3 months. Then all the interest that has been accumulated, we share it October. That is the end of the year. So in that case, my group, it means that it does not have any bank account with it. It's kind of a table banking. So I don't know, when it comes to the registration in the social works, if there is a position for such kind of a group for registration, that is. Pipi?
Unasikia kenye Mwija anasema, I think it's on social, wanaitwa social welfare.
Yes.
Social services.
Social services.
Yeah.
Yeah, so table banking, I think mnajiregister pia hapo, and as Mwija was saying it, anashuku kama mtakuwa taxed. Yes, you will be taxed. They just want you to get a quorum, alafu mwekewe ama waone venye mnatengeneza pesa. Ulisema, how much are you paying for training, by the way?
2,000 shillings.
It's affordable, by the way.
Yeah.
Ni pesa yenye mtu anaweza afford. Mujiite kama ni watu 10, 20, make a group, you know, and go to social services and get educated on how to run chama. And of course, Bionic came up and talked to us about crypto. Juza Nikujuze earlier on was talking to us about indices and how you can buy an index. Yeah. So there's a lot of things you learn here on Investment Mondays, and I'm looking to maintain it here like that. Investment Mondays. Tumerudi to normal programming, ladies and gentlemen. Mondays, investment. Tuesday, State of the Nation. Wednesdays, trending topic. Thursdays, uh, health and wellness. And then Fridays, we will be back here for relationships and, of course, our regular town halls. But today we are trying to just understand how to invest. Would you put your money in a group or a chama? And what are your plans to it? And one thing that has caught me is the fact that many people seem to be in groups planning to die. Kila mtu ninataka tuchange sijui in case mtu akufe. Hey, hakuna group yenye nimesikia teo in case mtu anataka kununua ploti. Nyini in case tu mtu akufe. And you know, in case you lose a very close family member, there is money. Hey. But you know, they say you always have to be prepared for the future, because you cannot wish death away. Just because you are unasema kwamba eti watu hawezi kufa, it doesn't mean they will not die. So you always have to be prepared. But also, come on, you don't have to make plans only for people who are dying. Paul the First, how are you doing, brother?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Mm.
How are you?
Umeendelea vizuri? I am well.
I'm also fine.
Mhm.
Naingia hivi na kuniweka na kunipea time ya kuongea. Hii ni
Wewe ndio request.
nilirequest. Najua mimi nikiingia space hivi nina request mic because of anything, nina request niongee, lakini it's nice, it's good. Umenipea time niongee actually, na kuvulia kofia juu umenitambua leo hii. It's not like those days zenye ulikuwa. So let me talk about the investment. Actually, for a human being, you have to work hard so that you can invest. Like chamas, for me, I think mi nakuanga fundi, so actually nafanya kazi nikilipwa immediately. Kama si fundi, I'm also a bodaboda guy. So I'm among the people wenye wana depend in chamas. Without a chama, these people wenye tunapewanga pesa cash au hauwezi endelea. You have to invest there. Like kuna wenye wanasemanga eti huwezi invest kama eti unaweza invest bila kukua chama. My friend, the day you are ile siku yenye unasema let me acha nipumzike, unakumbuka kuna chama ya fulani sichafikisha, sichatuma pesa, you have to work hard. Lakini ukisema eti acha tu ni save peke yangu hivi, unasikia leo sisikii kutoka, leo sisikii kufanya APCD. Like mimi nasikia leo nimeitwa kazi, sisikii kuenda. So chama actually inakufanya, inakumotivate, you need to work hard so that urudishe ile madeni ya wenyewe. So for a normal human being, you have to invest kwa chamas and so many other places zenye tunafanyanga investment, so that ndio unaweza endelea. Actually
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Wow, the space is dead. Yeah, I can
Oh,
hear you people.
I think Paul disappeared. Paul, uko wapi wewe? I don't know where Paul is, but Paul was talking about watu wa daily cash na venye wana save. Mute Bionic.
Mm. Okay.
Paul,
Yes,
talk to me.
si niliongea nikamaliza ama hamkusikia?
Unajua mimi nimehang kidogo nikafikiria nimehang. Anyway, thank you for that. I'm seeing Luka Matoke is on the way. Ladies and gentlemen, you tuned in to Home Run with Pipi. Every weekday from 4 p.m. all the way to 9 p.m. East African time. Luka Matoke. Luka, unmute mic yako basi. Utusalimia. Na Ismaili amefurahia, sijui nani amembamba pale hivi chini. I don't know if my network is right, but yes. Luka ni kama anipati sasa. Acha tu refresh. Can you get me, Bionic? I hope you can get me. Just confirm.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, cool. Sir, let's wait for Luca to refresh his microphone so he can come and talk to us. Today has been a very educative session, and if you have not listened to it when we end it, just go back and listen to this recording. It's a masterclass in investment. Normally we sit here and talk about politics all the time, but today we took time to also take a moment, and look at how to put our money right. And I'm glad that people are talking about their daily, some people are putting up daily wages, but they kupata pesa ya kila siku kusave ni ngumu. And also, kama unalipa nyumba mtu wangu, that is one of those things that could easily make you homeless. Kwa sababu kama hauna financial discipline, you'll not save anything, not a shilling. You have to learn a saving culture while investing at the same time so that you can exponentially grow. I was seeing Luca Matoke coming onto the microphone. Thank you so much for those who have kept me company for the past 4 and a couple hours here. It has been very tough. Yesterday I was busy shouting. I knew that man was going to be fired. Yes, for those who know what I'm talking about, a bald man in Manchester. Yeah, has been causing me a lot of shouting matches. Yeah. So Luca Matoke, how are you doing?
Hello.
Jambo ndugu yangu. How was the weekend?
Mnanisikia sahi?
Sasa nakusikia.
Yeah, ni poa. Okay. Sasa poleni Man U for the sacking. I was watching some CNN then nikaona some breaking news that the guy ameambiwa atembea. Ni hali ya maisha. You know, hata sisi when we had Roman Abramovich, watu walikuwa wanatembea mchana tu. I remember those days, it was back in 2012 there. Yeah, tulikuwa tunakuwa scared like kaa results zimeanza kwenda mbaya and then you hear some journalists wanasema jet ya Abramovich imeonekana London. Just to scare us. Tunaanza kukuwa na stress Mourinho anaenda. Ni hali ya maisha, poleni, but I think Man U at one time you'll get your stuff together and you'll get back to your glory days. It happens. Yeah, sasa on today's topic investment, ningewa encourage that you guys also venture into this other thing called cryptocurrency. It's a good investment by the way, but it's a long-term investment. It's not an investment that you can invest today and after 1 month or 6 months umepata your money. It's something long-term, and I don't know, are you guys aware that kuna some crypto projects wanapeana free tokens? There are some projects that wanapeana free tokens. They are on Telegram. You can be checking, inaweza saidia. Last time nilipata something when they were launching a project called Dogs. I just came across it. There some Nigerians walikuwa wanadiscuss kwa space. I came across it nikajaribu, and within 2 days niliweza kupata do yenye hata nililipa rent that month. Ilikuwa the month of mwezi wa 9. Yeah, actually a project ilinisaidia nikaweza kulipa rent. So it's something that you guys can take advantage of. Yeah, it's a new thing na it keeps improving in value. Ni kitu you can try. There are many projects that are coming up. Kuna ingine inaitwa Friend. There's another one that you've been waiting for a long time. Since 2020 is when I joined that project, inaitwa Pi Network. It's another good project. They have been promising that they are going to launch this year, end of this year. That is what they announced from January. That before the year ends, they're going to launch. Na kunaonekana a lot of positivity that they're going to launch. So these are things that you guys can take advantage of. If someone wants to know about them, they can reach out to me. They can reach out to me through my Twitter handle. Yeah, tuelimishane these things, and we can. Tunaweza pata kidogo kidogo, tukipata kidogo ni ya kutujenga, and we keep moving on. Yeah. Remember, these crypto projects, it's not a guarantee that they will work, but at times they work. There are people where I'm one of them. Back in 2014 tulikuwa, when I was in campus, tulikuwa tunaambiwa about Bitcoin na tuna ignore. And I tell you, my friends, I'm regretting why nilikuwa nakata. I used to do freelancing that time. And you find that umefanya mtu kazi, labda ilikuwa ka assignment, then anakuuliza akulipe in dollars ama in Bitcoin. And that time ungefanya na mtu anakupea ni kama tumetoka.
No, nakusikia.
Oh, unanisikia? Okay, so hiyo time ulikuwa unafanya kazi, mtu anataka kukulipa like 30 Bitcoins. Na unakataa. But I tell you, my friend, I wish I took that, because today as we speak, 1 Bitcoin is something like 7 million. So 30 Bitcoins, how many millions are those? 210 million. Imagine signing a worth 210 million. I retire for a lifetime. So these things are there. We can take advantage of them, and tupate kakitu. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Luka. Unajua umeniambia eti bro, unajua nimeambia beshte yangu hapa, my friend offered to sell me Bitcoin, 1 Bitcoin at 11,000. That was in 2014. Sahii ninaona it's around 6 million. Wow.
Imagine, hapa kwanza
umaskini ya kujitafutia. Umaskini ya kujitafutia.
Inauma sana, but
but I like the fact that Bionic brought it up, that story of cryptocurrency, because there was a time my guys even said, also talked about why it's important to bring up to have crypto.
It's very important to know these things. Now, if I can quickly say something, you see, they say that cryptocurrency at the moment where we are, it's like the internet back in 1995. When we look at the internet in 1995, that is when we had like Amazon was a few months old. There was no Google. Yahoo was just starting. There was no Twitter. There was no Facebook. That is when they were thinking about, MySpace. Those guys were thinking about it. So you can see, so if crypto is at where we were in 1995, so it means we have not seen projects that are going to rise the same way Google has risen in the internet. You know, when you look at Google, all the apps that wako nazo, from the Chrome to Gmail to the Authenticator, they have a lot of apps. So you can imagine that hatujapata crypto yenye inapenya into all areas. So my friend, it's high time that tujue hizi vitu. Si ati sisi wengine tumejua kabisa. We are still learning. We are still learning, we are learning. Now, if we continue learning, so unaona, by the time when we have a crypto that is going to be the way X is on the internet, hiyo time sisi wote tupate tuko ndani, si tutakuwa tumepata kakitu. Yeah, so it's a challenge to us. Yeah.
Raphael is back. Raphael, have you taken a call?
Man, I apologize. I had to pick up a phone call that I was waiting for quite a while. But right now I'm here, and I do want to appreciate Luca Matoke for addressing what is his thought about Bitcoin. He says something very important. He says that you need to know about Bitcoin. You don't have to own it, or you don't have to buy it. Just know what's going on. It's important to know what is going on in this ecosystem, which is emerging from what it used to be, and something which is new to all of us. So knowing where we're heading, it's important. At least you understand. If you're gonna talk about the story about people who lost the opportunity that presented by this digital asset, some people are even still living in the hospital just because the way they feel about missing on a Bitcoin. There is a guy who bought a piece on almost 30 coin of a Bitcoin today. So if you ask that guy where he is today, how is he gonna feel? So we all missed this opportunity. I remember when I saw Bitcoin for the first time, it was $11. That's the first time that I saw Bitcoin. Because I knew I thought it was a fire. I thought I was wasting money at the time. I didn't want to be exposing to something that nobody knows who created it. What is the intrinsic value? What is the value? I didn't want to own anything that have no, like they had a white paper, but nobody know what it is. But today is one of the things that if I wish I could have owned it on my portfolio here, but I can't afford Bitcoin no more. I can only go with another technology that I'm doing better than Bitcoin, which I mentioned a little bit. I saw some people also asking a question about Cardano. What I think about Cardano. So when I saw Cardano for the first time, I didn't understand how can you decentralize a government. So I thought it was about the wasting of time. But Cardano is not just only trying to decentralize the government. There is a lot of different things you can do on Cardano chain, but there are many purposes. It was about how can we decentralize the system? Because remember, the system we vote for is governed by people who think like the way you are. That means they can be wrong when making a decision. They can be against you while they should not even be like that. So the Cardano system is really, they are developing something which is going to be very more interesting right now. So I wish I can, with my limited vocabulary, I do not know how can I explain it enough Cardano. And I also want to make it clear, I do not own Cardano because I need to own a chunk of them. I'm still putting some money on the side in order to really take a serious position in Cardano. But I believe is one of the cheapest assets that it can still acquire and put in your portfolio. And they also be patient. A lot of people do not know how to go for something. A lot of people, when they take their money in the wallet and they put in the investment, they want that money to appreciate and value in the overnight. No, that's not how it works. This thing is going to test your patience to the oblivion. I don't think everybody you're going to see who is rich from crypto, that guy, they are wealthy though. If you see what they have to go through in order to really get to where you see them today, is not many of us, because I'm from Africa, I am a Mozambican. I know what I'm talking about. If I put in my $100 to work, man, I need that money to be $200 at least by the end of the week because I want to go get some Heinekens, if you know what I'm talking about. So but that's not the case in crypto. In crypto, you sometimes need to learn how to hold. You know, and if you feel like you need to sell, learn about investment. Try to understand why should you keep holding more? Why should you even lose if you have to? You understand? There is investment I put in my money in. Then the company is a Casper Network. Casper Network is developing AI, which is going to be used by government official, because I always believe in a product which you're going to sell on institution or government, because those are the biggest buyers. If you have a product which is consumed by government, man, you're done. So I'm always looking for the investment in any company which is developing any type of product which they sell to the institution or the government. I'm always going to be willing to put my money in there, just put in there for 5 years, 3 years to see what could happen. So the Casper Network, it was a chain that was owned by a lot of guys, a lot of retailers, and most of the retailers, as you already know, we do not want to hold for long. We just hold it for a while. We just want to hold for quite 2 weeks or a month. We need our money back to go put to where we to get it out from. So we do not know what's really meaning to hold of an asset. So so I believe we need to reform an educated group. We're trying to inform each other like how to hold, because just buying something doesn't mean you're gonna hold it, because hold is more difficult than buying. Just because you have money doesn't mean you should buy something that you don't understand. Try to understand why you should hold that thing. Trying to be in a meeting or getting the zooms of the CEO and trying to understand what kind of development they're having, what kind of new contract they're signing, who are the new customers. That's what makes you want to stay there. I remember back in 2007, I saw 2023, I saw Amazon on $70. I remember I was young and I was at school. So I thought Amazon, if you see the company, you see what kind of business they are in. A lot of people think like Amazon was a company where you're gonna put your credit card online and you buy whatever you want to buy from them. But we didn't understand Amazon was a real estate company and they also supply chain company. Few of us do not understand. Just like a lot of people think like McDonald's, they're in a business to sell burgers, but fuck no. McDonald's, they're not in the business of selling burgers. That is their strategy of their business. They're in the real estate. So if you can understand the business model and be able to understand what kind of business they are in, that's when you see opportunity. It's very difficult to send your money to work in a business you don't understand how they work. Let's try to understand what is the value. The value it relies on, and is something they are doing behind. None of the price. Price can lie to you. The price doesn't really reflect the value of something you're investing in. Sometimes you may be paying too expensive on something that doesn't really worth the price you're paying. Remember, the price is what you pay, and the value is what you get. So let's focus to read it. Take a time, sit on your computer, download those white papers before you invest in. Make sure you read. Of course, they're going to be very technical because most of these technology, they have their own language, that kind of stuff, which I struggle to understand personally. But what I do, I look to understand or look somebody who can try to explain me, hey, what kind of problem this guy they're solving, and who have this issue this guy they're solving, how many institutions, and who is willing to buy the kind of product they're creating or they're developing in order to create a value of what they are trying to sell. And once you can understand that, bro, it's a game over. So Cardano, XRP, Optimism, let me look at those chains right here, I think. And the Chainlink, I believe these crypto are doing a fantastic job. Just 3 months ago, Chainlink, they are partnered with the messaging system. If you know what the messaging system the banks use to send the money, Swift. Swift is a old school algorithm. So they want to upgrade in order to meet the information world we live in. What they're gonna have to do is to try to rebuild again, but they can't do that. They can only partner with another software that are there in order to trying to upgrade the safety system. So safety system 3 months ago they signed a contract with a Chainlink. Chainlink is a software that you can buy on just $70. I know $7 can still be a little bit expensive, but the good thing is if you see the value of what they're doing and the price is too low than what they're doing. what they are really worth. Why? Because remember, central bankers, uh, they have been they have been lowering interest for quite 5 years right now, and now the all central banks got together. They agree to again to cut the interest. When you cut the interest, it means they're gonna start printing money because, as you already know, our economy we live in today is the artificial economy. We have to pump, and we have to dump. Like we have like it's no longer based on what's going on. Only central bank can control about your economy and how economy is running. So right now, the most of the central bank, even if you look on a Kenya central bank, you're gonna see they'll have already started about like putting easy money to work. Like they're gonna start lending institutional money. If you needed to go borrow money for the cheap rate, the interest rate, you can have that money very easy than ever before. Why? Because they want the liquidity to circulate. It means like than ever before. And remember, I say that in 1 year alone, you only have 1 year to position yourself, either in a crypto or gold and silver. Just look about what silver is doing right now. Silver is doing a fantastic job. If you own a silver like back in 2024, 22, 23, silver was $18. Today is almost $32. I believe it's heading to $50. Why? Because silver, as you can see, I'm sorry too much to mix up the different things because I've been trying to find out where to put the money, and I believe investing in the metal, crypto, not in stocks. I don't believe in stock. I believe it's a dying like sector, like because we no more have that economy. That the economy we know has died. So I just don't trust no more in stocks. So if you believe like the AI is gonna need data centers, we're gonna need the electric cars. They're gonna need the more computers and chips and everything. Which to do that you need to have a lot of silver, and we do not have enough silver under the soil to satisfy the demand that which out there. Like we just don't even know. And what is going on? If you in silver is not something you can fake. It's not something you can buy. So there is not enough silver, which means if there is a low supply and there is a high demand, the price will have to spike up to the Bolivian. If you see what's going on just alone in the silver, just don't just start with the cryptocurrency. Start to understand what's going in the middle exchange. You can look to the BMA and understand how many silver they have involved and how many silver are in demand and how many geologists the silver they are predicted which is still under the soil. You're gonna notice a problem which is gonna want you to put some of your small money. It can be $100, just $100 just in silver. And you're gonna think yourself maybe in 10 years from now. Because remember, we are emerging right now. We also need to understand what's coming, the imminent coming, which is energy. Energy, in energy we have today, which is the electricity you have at home. Most of the energy we use to illuminate our house or to, to turn on our factories, we have to burn diesel in order to have that energy. And now, if you remember, back in 2022, 23, the oil giant supply, they declared that they are now running, they are in oil peak, which means they don't have, the oil is running out under the soil. Even in the oil they have, the cost to mine that oil to pump up to pump the oil, the price to pump up, and the price, the cost to pump up the oil is not equal to the price we sell it. Like we use more money to get it, and we sell for less. Because if we're gonna have to match with the price of if we're gonna have to kind of wanna make a profit from oil, the price of everything will have to go up. Remember, when the oil prices goes up, we all know how we feel because we use the oil to manufacture textiles, medicines, you know. Ev- just look about things that you can do in the oil. You can understand how oil intimately what it does in your life. So we're now running out of oil, and that do you think is a coincidence? Just the world to wake up in a switch and they tell you, hey, we need to everything has to be electricity right now. It has to be electric. Like you need to right now. The solar energy or the solar solar technology, it has been there for years and years. Electrifying, it has been there for years, but they didn't want to do that because I'm sorry, I'm getting calls here, but I'm gonna make sure that I finalize my conversation. So you need to understand that there is a deficit in and I want you to go do your due diligence. Do not go with what I say. And once you see that deficit, try to understand what they are doing with the silver. Once you can understand, try to understand where they are getting all this silver. You can be ready just to blow your mind. So this will make the squeeze. I don't know if somebody knows what is a squeeze. They are gonna have to. The U.S. government will have to reverse the price of gold and silver. We could see the gold go up to $200,000 an ounce. Silver, it could go to $50,000. Why I keep talking about silver? Because silver is much more usable. It's a more industrial metal. We use for almost everything to manufacture any electronic. You need to have silver, and we don't have that silver. And that's where also nuclear. If you check in your portfolio, nuclear, the Iran, and the SML are going up because the world believe that the solar system, it will support us to it. Like if you see the infrastructure we already have here, the the energy we got from the solar system, it cannot really support our infrastructure we already have here. That's like a pipeline and like a pipe dream. My bad, I'm receiving calls here, but so please take your time. Also schedule more conversations, and then we we can organize the conversation here just to get informed. We create an informed group, so we can start by understanding we can go from the scratch about which I think a lot of us they have already know what it is. We start with crypto and how we got here. We go to the middle and we try to understand our economy, which is not going to go nowhere. We live in industrial economy, but which it may be changing very soon because our industrial economy needs oil and it needs metals, and we don't have those things under the ground. So if those things are not there and nobody's telling you they're not there, you need to know that. Once you know what kind of problem and the ramifications is gonna cause, you're gonna know how to position yourself in order to make money, or you stay and you know you're gonna lose money. You need to know what's coming and what is changing in order to position yourself in a comfortable situation. So I love I could say more, but um, um, I happened to turn in here while I was not ready. I enjoyed the conversation. I have to come up here just to share my input in this market. So, but I'm just gonna go ahead and follow everyone here, just in case you guys launch another conversation that talk about where we are and where we're heading in terms of economy. I would try to come here and learn about what you guys know, share about what I know, so we see how can we position ourselves in a comfortable situation.
Right. Thank you, Raphael, for that, and also very insightful. We are at 5 minutes past 9 East African time for Home Run PP runs here between 4 to 9 p.m. East African time.
Conversations, engaging topics on your phone anywhere. This is Home Run with Pippy.
Bionic, do you have any final words for us before we call it a night? Have you learned anything?
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate everything Rafa shared. It was quite insightful. I think he might have to come back and have a crypto 101 so everybody can understand what he's talking about, because he may have lost some people in terms of the topic. So maybe you can think about that, PP, maybe on next Monday or something like that, so people can be aware of this whole crypto space and know what they're missing out on, and see if it's something they would be interested in getting involved in. So having the information is the first part. So I don't know if Rafa will be able to come back, or that I'll let you guys work that out. But I think that would be beneficial to your audience, PP. Yeah, thanks for the space. Hope you feel better.
Thank you, Bionic, for that. Of course, I'm gonna be on some dawa. Nachemsha kitunguu saumu dania, or not dania, what do you call it? Ginger, garlic, honey, and see how I wake up tomorrow. But we'll be back here again at 4 p.m. Luka Matoke, what are your final words? Tomorrow we'll be here for State of the Nation. Mzee Luka, usha break kwenda kulala? Okay, if Luka is already broken to sleep, that gives us this opportunity to say goodnight.
You are listening to Home Run with Pippi. Weekdays from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Home Run with Pippi. We happen here each and every weekday. Today has been hard because of course, I woke up with a cold and of course with the hoarse voice. But yeah, I hope we'll be back in action tomorrow, better and louder. Yes. Luka, ni kama hutaki kusema good night bwana, ama wanasema real people disappear. I want to say a special shout out to Muhija, of course, for giving us all that breakdown on the social welfare, where you go and register yourself for your chama, of course. Thank you so much to Juza Nikujuze, Ismail Luta, of course. Leo nimekuwa na speakers wachache mpaka naweza wataja wote. And of course, Bionic Raphael, all the way from Mozambique, who joined us in the middle when Bionic asked a question that, of course, I would say the law is very clear, but Raphael actually answered it well. So thank you so much for tuning in. I would like to call it a night here and, of course, not strain my vocal cords any further. And then I will be back again. And of course, Edwin. Edwin is saying today's show has been so educative. PP, thank you. Asanteni sana kwa wale wametune in. Of course, kama unapenda kazi yangu, there's a tip jar in there where you can always help keep our lights stay on. Asanteni sana kwa usiku wa leo. Good night. Tomorrow I'll be here with a YouTube video as well. Bye.
Social conversations, engaging topics on your phone anywhere. This is Home Run with Pippi.